What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode and live stream of Let's Get Nuts here on the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back. Guys, I did not choose that new countdown music. They have changed it, and it just doesn't pump me up in the same way. So at some point, I'm going to try and find a new countdown. And literally, as I hit the play button, my mouse died. So it's going to take me a half second to click the Let's Get Nuts stream. But guys, I am happy you are here because today we have a huge channel member giveaway. If you are a channel member, there are 38 of you. You have a 1 in 38 chance of winning the Hot Toys Xenomorph here today on the show. We got the duck race already set up and ready to go for that. We're going to talk Hot Toys news, entertainment news, movie news, toy news, 6 scale, all of the good stuff, of course. So guys, stick around. Of course, if you like the video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show, and let's get nuts.
What are you doing? You're completely outnumbered here. Are you nuts? You want to get 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 nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Alrighty, let's see how long my mouse lasts here before it dies. Hopefully we can get to the first subject of the day. We have one hell of an epic panel, by the way. I meant to say that to you guys as well. I think we have 7 people backstage. So we're going to rapid fire through these boys so we can get on to the topics and have a nutty Sunday, of course. But I want to bring this person out first because this is his first time on Let's Get Nuts. He's an awesome channel member, great community member, of course. I talk to him about Trek and figures and all of the things all of the time. You guys might recognize him by Valkyrie, maybe by Magnus, maybe by Valkyrie Magnus, but we got Valkyrie Magnus here in the chat with us and in the panel for the first time on Let's Get Nuts. Welcome to the show, man. How's it going?
Great. Thank you very much for having me here.
Hell yeah.
I always dreamed to come on this show.
Oh my god, that you guys honor me. I was saying backstage today, everybody, that when I first started streaming, I felt like I was asking people favors to come on the show with me, right? Like I was asking them to take 2 hours out of their Sunday to come on a show where like 7 people would be watching. And now when you guys reach out and say, can I come on the show? It's so heartwarming and it takes so much pressure off of me as the streamer. So dude, happy to have you here, man. Happy to have you here.
Yeah, thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Next up, of course, we need to get our flair in for the British. Now, we've got actually 2 British folks in the back here, so it may be War of the Brits today, but this is our longest running Brit member, of course. We got Pete from Only Fools in Collecting, a division of Collecting Weekly, back in the show with us. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, good. Good to see you guys. Hi, Valkyrie. First time
Hey,
streaming with you. Looking forward to it. Yeah, let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts, dude. I feel like you change up your background almost every time we have a show. So,
I've been doing a bit of tidying, so.
That's fair. What ended up happening to your bat wing, the Lego bat wing that you have on the wall? Is that still up there?
Yeah? It's up here, yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Definitely.
Well, man, it is good to have you here again. It is a bit of a battle of the Brits today because we've got another member back again in the house. Some know him as Aaron. Some may say he's well articulated. I like to say he's Aaron articulated, or Aaron articulates back in the show with us again. Good to see you guys. And no infighting, by the way.
We love each other, man. We're not
We've
yeah.
got new bromance here, Ben, mate.
Yeah. I've been on Aaron's show. He's been on my show. And Aaron is now kind of officially announced that he is now a bona fide co-host of OFAC.
Hello, yes. Congratulations, Aaron. Good to have you back.
Thank you very
dude.
much,
I saw your live stream with Pete the other day. In fact, I was
So good.
It was
man.
it was funny.
It was funny. It was funny. If you guys have missed out on Aaron's show, go over after Let's Get Nuts today. Check out our Aaron Articulates on YouTube. Just some of the rants, the rambles, the raves that you have on there, man, are hilarious. I was pissed because I work from home a lot, and I went out and I bought myself like a piece of shit laptop, like just like a $500 throwaway laptop, something I could bang out some notes and some work when I'm at home. And it was horrible. It was the worst computer I've ever held in my hands. And I'm like, okay, well, you get what you pay for, right, when it comes to computer technology. So I decided I would take it back, and on my way taking it back, I was listening to that show, and so I was ready for a fight walking in, because I'm like, if they're not going to return it, or they're like, you don't have the box or anything, I'm like, oh, I have a subject for Aaron's show. So, but it went really smoothly, and they just gave me another computer, so I was like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, sometimes you want the war, though, don't you? Sometimes you want the battle.
Little drama, you know, but that's okay. So good to see you, buddy. Good to have you. Good to see you. Now, you may recognize the next guest, somebody who often fights Spider-Man in the comics, but somebody who fights the awesomeness of reality here in Calgary, Alberta, with me here as well. We got Mysterio Meotics, Mr. J, back in the house again. How's it going, man? Good to see you, buddy.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be back.
Hell yeah, dude. Your setup is looking super crispy on the backside there, by the way.
I thought I'd change it up a little bit this time.
Yeah, and you've got your own, like, themed trailer, it looks like, on the TV there, so that's pretty cool.
It's a quick slideshow, yeah.
Aaron, look at all the RoboCop.
Yes. Yeah.
Said I wasn't going to mention it.
I know.
We're in now.
Yeah.
They look excellent.
It looks great.
You guys can swap RoboCop stories, backstage later and hold pinkies. But for today, we're gonna hold the RoboCop off the stream. That's a sweet looking setup, dude. And interestingly enough, Mysterio, today and panel and chat, we are going to be talking a little bit about Terminator, but also what we're hoping to see from Terminator lines moving forward. So I see quite a bit of Terminator back and behind you there, Jay. So I'll be curious to get your take on that as well, buddy. So thank you for being here. As always, for having me. Of course. Next, this panelist here, he's only been on Let's Get Nuts once. It's a pretty awesome dude. Some say he's a therapist when it comes to 6 scale. Some think of a PlayStation controller, like me, whenever I think of Press X to continue. Let's get him out here. We got Christopher, Press X to continue, back on the show. Good to see you, buddy.
My goodness. Happy Sunday, everyone. My wallet, my emotions, everything is challenging them these days, but I'm here to talk some plastic. I actually got something to keep my hands busy. I picked up a Rubik's Cube recently just because I'm like, let me, work my brain. Now it's a pretty fancy one. I don't quite think I've got the hang of it yet.
That's that box out of Hellraiser. Careful, dude.
Once I crack this thing open, I have a feeling I'm in for a good time.
Just hold it above the screen slightly when you're playing with it, though, okay? Like, we want to see those hands. I'm just putting it out there. It's called Let's Get Nuts, but it's not that naughty of a show.
Is it matching the patterns? Is that what it is? So it's just... I've never seen anything like this. Like
that looks wildly difficult.
Yeah.
I find Rubik's Cube hard enough, but that blew my mind.
That's cool, though.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. I want one now.
Cool. Yeah, let us know how it goes.
I'm sure everyone will know how it goes once I open this.
That's awesome. Quick shout out. We got Safira Cosplay in the channel with us here in the show. Quick shout out to her. She's one of my best friends in life from young childhood Ben, from through high school into adult life. And she does some amazing cosplay work, both on her Instagram, her Twitter, and life. She's been recently doing some YouTube streams. So go over, take a quick screenshot of this if you guys can. Make sure you go and follow her on all of her platforms. She is fantastic, and the cosplay is wildly good. I wish I was as good. I wish I was good at building shit as I am talking about toys. But yeah, awesome to have you here, my friend. Next up in the panel, one of my favorite people in this world. One of the people who got me started in 6 scale punditry. Let's be honest, I never would have had the opportunity to even stream, in my opinion, if it were not for this fellow. We've got Marco from 16fix here in the channel and in the show. What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Hey, Marco.
Hey, I'm doing well. Good to see a lot of you. Good to meet some of you, and thanks for having me. And I know we've got a lot of people, so I'll keep it short and sweet, but looking forward to this one.
Hell yeah. Thanks for being able to cut out some time, man. It was it's been a little while since I've had you on, actually.
No more football, and I had an early basketball game, so good Sunday to get on.
Hell yes. Well, it's always a pleasure to have you here, buddy. Keep your opinions a-flowing today. But we have to keep our
keep your
opinions.
opinions to yourself.
I really.
You never know what I'm
Just
going to
look
say.
at you,
Honestly. You
Marco.
hate to see it.
Yeah, that's right. You're giving me the Eddie treatment, but all right, it went the other way.
Keep your
so.
opinions to yourself. But yes, no, it's good to have you here. I was going to say we have to be on Collecting Weekly and show up for that show on Tuesday. So we have to be wildly divergent in our takes today, so people still have a reason to go check us out there too on Tuesday. But good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. We have 33 people in the chat, by the way. I'm going to say hi to all of you guys here very shortly, but thanks for being here early today and getting nuts with us. We got one final person, last but certainly not least. He's one of my favorite X-Men characters. We got X-Men Supreme back in the house. Good to see you, buddy. How are you doing, man?
Hey! I got like a safer Rubik's Cube, I think.
Oh.
So, I don't know how it works.
And he's gone. He's gone. Love to see it. X-Men Supreme will not be joining us for today's Let's Get Nuts stream, as he has now blown his arms off. You hate to see it. Guys, welcome to the show. Welcome everybody who is here in the panel and on the chat. Thank you so much for being here on a Sunday getting nuts with us. We're going to jump right into it today because we got a little bit of entertainment news. I kept the entertainment news section a bit shorter because we have so many people on the panel, but also because I've got a lot of 6-scale stuff that I want to talk to you guys about. And somewhere in about the halfway point of the show, we are going to do our channel member giveaway for the Hot Toys Scorched Xenomorph. Now, I was joking backstream because I should have probably checked the price of that before I offered that up as the free figure. I did not realize in Canadian dollars that is a $600 giveaway. So what I want to shout out is all of you folks who are channel members, everybody who does super chats all of the time. I've just been letting channel memberships, super chats, all of that stuff fill up in the YouTube account, and then I was able to take that money out and buy the figure. So I want you guys to know that the money that you put into the show comes back to you guys at some point. And again, you have a 1 in 38 chance of winning that figure today. The more members we get, obviously your chances change, but the chances of winning the lottery like that are still pretty low. So I'm going to continue to give these bigger channel giveaways. Next time, maybe I'll put it up for a vote to see what you guys want. If anybody already wins or anybody wins and already has the figure, sorry, you'll have to lose your NRD. However, maybe you'll save some money towards something else that's cool. So guys, let's get into it. I wanted to share, I don't always come up with these warm-up topics before the show. Last night, I couldn't fall asleep. I was playing baseball PlayStation game online with my buddies until like 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I went to bed wildly too late, a little stoned, a little tipsy. And I had the worst nightmare about today's show. I don't know what it was. I couldn't get the slides to work. People were showing up to the show and they were just like looking at me like, man, like you don't know how to run a show at all. Like, what the hell are you doing? I was saying backstage, for some reason, Lael and Latoya, love those guys. They were in the dream randomly on the panel waiting for me to deliver like a good show, and they were just like not impressed. And that would have been the first time Latoya ever came on a Let's Get Nuts. And I was just like, I was so stressed. And I woke up and it was all good. But I've also had this reoccurring nightmare of, oddly enough, friends falling off my balcony and me having to scrape them off the pavement with a shovel while they're still alive and I have conversations with them. And it's a reoccurring nightmare. It happens with almost all of my friends at some point, and it's horrifying. So my
Maybe you should have kept this one to yourself, Ben.
No, it's fine. It's terrifying and share-worthy. My question for the panel is, do you guys have any reoccurring nightmares or any reoccurring good dreams that you can touch on really quickly for our warm-up today? And if not, what would you want to do in your dream if you could choose it, right? If you could like kind of plug yourself into like a dream matrix and be like, this is what I'm doing in the dream tonight. And I said keep it relatively PG-14 if it's, sexual in nature. But otherwise, Valkyrie, I'm going to start with you, buddy, because you're the first up and the first time on Let's Get Nuts. Do you have any reoccurring nightmares or good dreams that you can touch on very quickly for us?
Oh, well, there's one dream that really comes to mind. It was I was about 12 years old. I dreamt I was in the middle of some urban area and someone was shooting at people and trying to kill people, and I was in the crosshairs, right? Jeez. And then somewhere in there, I realized it was a dream. So I flew up, bullets were bouncing off my chest, and I flew in throughout the person. He just threw him over the horizon. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. And then I woke up, which ended the dream.
That's fair. Big Rib says, were you naked in the dream? That always happens. I actually wasn't, surprisingly. I was well dressed for that stream that went sideways. But that's an interesting one, Valkyrie. If you could choose to do something in your dream, like a superpower or something like that, is there anything that stands out for you?
Well, I'll put it this way. So I was like 5 years old when I saw Superman in the theater back in 1978, and ever since then, Superman's always been my favorite superhero. So yeah, if I could be a Kryptonian guy, I would do it.
Well said. Well said. Aaron, I know you often dream about RoboCop, but what else stands out to you for you, either in bad dreams, good dreams, or wishes in dreams?
I was just trying to think back to one that I can't quite remember what we were having some a bit of work done in the house, and I think that got into my head a little bit. And I seem to remember a dream where like they changed all the doors so that the room you were going in wasn't the room that you thought you were going in, and our house isn't even that big, so you could have easily have worked that out after a few minutes. But in the dream, I remember just being like, I don't know where I am in my own house. Like they've put all the rooms around the wrong way, and it was like a maze in my own house. I do remember that one. But in terms of if I could pick my own dream, I said I wasn't going to mention it, wouldn't I? But I am. It will be. I'll be RoboCop then. After he's, I don't want to be, not as Alex Murphy getting like shot up, but because that'd be a nightmare, wouldn't it? But
you're just going to put a suit on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd buy that dream for $1.
So yeah, that'd be my ideal one, I think.
Yeah, not being shot up, but putting on the armor. Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense. Pete, have you ever had that kind of dream where you're trying to run away and you get slogged and you realize it's just because your feet are all tied up in the blankets, or maybe that's just a stone dream that I have?
Well,
in the
funny enough, I have this dream that I go around Ben's house and he kicks me off the balcony, and then he comes down and tries to talk to me when I've got half my face caved in.
I don't kick anybody off. They just happen to fall off. I don't know what.
Yeah, of course.
Horrible Canadian safety standards.
That's what you would say. Have you got a balcony? Do you actually have a balcony?
I have 4 stories up.
You have got one. So
does it have
just high enough?
Is it like a Star Wars situation where there are no railings?
Yeah, it's sounding quite suspicious.
Pete is my father, honestly, so I tend to throw myself away. Yeah.
Nothing I can think of.
Would you have a superpower you'd want to work then in a dream? Anything you'd be like, oh, that'd be fun to do?
Nah, I just like sleeping.
I just like sleeping.
I don't really bother with dreams because they're quite exhausting. I have fallen out of bed once. I don't know what I was doing. I think I was in a rugby match or something. I hate rugby. I don't play rugby, but I think I dived for a tackle or something, and the next thing I know, I was on the floor, which is a bit odd. But no, I can't really think of anything, to be honest. Nothing shocking, nothing disgusting.
The next time you have one, then Pete, your homework is to write it down on a pad next to the bed.
Okay.
Come on, let's get nuts and you share it with us. That's the
okay.
Goal. Okay. Yeah. All right.
I will.
It could be really twisted. You just got to give me a heads up in advance. We'll wait till at least we're 10 minutes past the streaming monetization section. So don't worry about that. Press X to continue. You're a very thoughtful person. I would imagine you have some pretty unique takes in life. What about you? Anything that haunts your life or makes you excited or wishes that you can have?
Let's see. In terms of haunting, I had a dream that I got an email that said, hey, just so you know, you didn't actually graduate from high school. And not only that, but you have to come back to high school to finish high school. So I went to high school. I lived in Massachusetts. I went to high school in Oklahoma. So they required me to fly to Oklahoma to take classes. And then throughout, going back and forth, because I'm like, I can't keep doing this. I have like a life in Boston. I can't keep going back and forth like this. And then, that moment like in Inception where the dream starts to fall apart? That was me when I started to realize, wait a minute, I have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. I did graduate from high school.
I did graduate.
But For a split second, it's like, he didn't graduate from high school. I'm like, oh no, I didn't graduate. So yeah, that was for me a nightmare, because I can't imagine having to go back to high school. That was not a great time. In terms of a wishful thinking for a dream, most people would say, oh, I want to be rich. Well, guess what? When you wake up, you're going to realize you're not rich. So that's more of a nightmare than anything else. So come back to me when it comes to best case scenarios for dreams. Sounds because good. Money and power, I'll wake up and realize, oh no, I don't have any of it.
Valkyrie stands out to me because I do, like, for me, I think flying in dreams is always exciting. You know, whatever you're doing, like, and I'm talking like Peter Pan style flying, or just like, you know, Storm, or like any of those types of Superman, those types of characters where you can just jump off your balcony and not die, and just fly away, you know.
You really need to like peel back the layers on what this means. I'm feeling there's a
I don't know why I have such a fear of balconies. I don't even have a fear of heights, so I don't know what it is. It's a strange thing. Jay, I know you're probably never going to come over again, since you live locally and now you understand what is in my head. But what about you, buddy? What anything that stands out for you? And then we'll move on.
So I have reoccurring dreams. They are since I was a kid, they are ever progressing. Sometimes it's bad, like a nightmare. Sometimes it's really good. Sometimes I'm the hero, but it's zombie apocalypse type dreams. Random locations through Calgary. Sometimes at the mall, sometimes in downtown, sometimes at places where I work, sometimes even in my own house. It's just odd, and it always seems to play out exactly how the movie would play out, but it's just me as the hero or the villain or the anti-hero or whatever, the victim. And they would replace the other co-stars with family members or friends, and they would die or get eaten the exact same way how those movies would play out. So, you know, sometimes it's pretty fun, you know, if you're like the hero running around, you know, killing zombies, but it's also pretty terrifying when you're stuck in a mall and you have no idea what to do, just like in Dawn of the Dead. So it's an interesting thing. I don't know why it's been happening since I was a younger kid. In every zombie movie that I watch, it's like it gets added to the library of dreams that I have. So it's like I can't just get away from it. So it's interesting. But when it comes to having like a superhero or like a power, I think I would like to be able to time travel. I think that would be travel to the very start of time. How the heck did the pyramids get here? Travel 1,000 years ahead. How far advanced did we get? Or if you ever seen the movie Limitless, take that super smart pill and basically be like a super brain, but just appear normal to everybody else. I think those would be the two biggest powers that I would want to have.
Yeah, well said. Marco, what about you, buddy? What do you think?
Yeah, so really similar to Christopher, I've got this, and it must be tied to my imposter syndrome, but I've got this recurring dream where I'm either back in high school or in college, and I've got to go to a class that I totally forgot about an exam, or there's a paper due, and I'm not going to graduate, and like the world is about to end, and I'm like, how did I let it get to this point? And like it's so vivid, like it just keeps popping up. And I wasn't a great student, honestly. Like I just got by, so there must just be like a lot of PTSD with being in school. But yeah, that's one that continues to haunt me to this day. And I'm like, I'm fine. You know, I'm an adult now. I've got my job. I got my degree. But yeah, it's definitely lingering. And then in terms of superpower, you know, I've got this fantasy of being the Hulk, like just hulking out and just like raging and smashing shit. I think that would be like the most fun thing to do, just jumping from building to building and just destroying stuff.
This Halloween, then, you and Gigi need to be Green and Red Hulk. You
like
guys can
that.
choose
I
which
like
one
that.
you are, but you know, I could see Gigi being a really good Red Hulk, honestly, for you. So
Yeah,
just put it out
crush
there. She would crush it. Last but certainly not least, Mr. Dave. What about you, buddy? What lives in your mind? What lives in your dreams?
Oh, we don't need to go down that road.
No, we don't need to go. Too much to share.
No, my dreams are like. What's funny is like it's not that the dreams themselves are recurring. It's like the situation, I guess, is kind of continuing. like I will have dreams lately of like one of my two most prominent exes, and like it's just boring everyday stuff. Like I'm dreaming of an alternate reality where all those things worked out. And like I'm doing dishes or someone's cleaning the car. It's just dumb household crap.
Maybe that is a multiverse for you. Maybe you are
maybe
actually
it
looking
is.
into your own multiverse. It's possible.
And then I wake up and I'm like, man, I'm in the good one.
I'm in the good one.
Oh, God.
Surrounded by figures. Got the good life going on. I love to see it. What would your superpower be? I'm just curious. A little off the side, but
I've often thought about this. I think about this almost daily, actually, and I've often loved the idea of time travel for just the most nefarious reasons. But I've often told myself the ideal situation would be having the power of the Infinity Gauntlet. Without the repercussions, right? Like, I don't want to die using it. But, like, if I met a genie and I had the perfect, wording of how to make a wish, that's what I would do. And I would just have that and be able to do whatever the hell I want, whenever, however, whatever my reality is, that's what I got. And it would be great. Yeah.
Fair. See, that's interesting you say that, too, because that's well thought out. Because I was thinking about my flight thing, right? If I'm flying around, but I don't have any other superpowers, I just have the ability to fly. Like a bird could take me out. You know what I mean? If you're not careful. So you gotta also be like, superhuman in order for flight to actually make sense. Or you better fly pretty freaking low to the ground, or you're gonna hurt yourself. So yeah, is what it is, guys. I feel warmed up. We have over 40 people here watching us live. Thanks for having fun and what did I say, joshing around or getting nuts or whatever you want to call it. But we've got some entertainment stuff to talk about. Very briefly here, I just thought I'd share this for everybody. I'm not going to go into it with the panel in this one, but just as a reminder, release schedule for Daredevil Born Again starts on March 4th. So if that's a show that you guys are excited for, or you're trying to prep and watch all of the previous Netflix seasons like I'm trying to do, I've binge watched most of it in the last 2 weeks. I've still got about half of the third season left. Then this is the release schedule here in order to get caught up before the show starts. I am freaking really, really, really excited about this. So stay tuned. If you guys are interested in terms of panelists or chat, if you guys want to have quick, conversations about the episodes as they progress, especially if it's a good show, happy to do like maybe some little live streams after the episodes air. So something to consider. As well as The Last of Us Season 2 premieres April 13th, 2025. So this coming April. And of course, I was really, really curious. I'm not going to go through all the panelists on this one, but just kind of picking on a couple people. The Last of Us Season 2. I've kind of heard that the game, so Game 1, Game 2, without too much in the way of spoilers, Game 2 is set to happen at least over 2 seasons, if not potentially 3 seasons, which to me seems like aggressively extended. There's some pretty main events that happen in Game 2 within the first 2 hours of the game that really set the pace for what happens. I'd be curious, Marco, just because I know you've played the games quite a few times like me. Any thoughts on the season? Is this something you're going to wait until like more seasons come out? Are you going to watch it as it happens? What are your thoughts on The Last of Us?
Yeah, this is something I've got to watch day one. So as every episode drops, I'm actually rewatching the first season right now. I love first game and second game. Some of my favorite, games, but also just like pieces of media of all time. So I can't wait for this. I'm really excited to see how this, story is going to translate. Obviously, the second game is controversial for some decisions they make, but I personally really loved the decisions because, of the emotions that it makes you feel. So I can't wait for people that have not experienced that story to experience it live, and we'll see, how they're going to tackle it, because it's going to be a little bit tricky to translate, but I think I trust this creative team, and I think they're going to crush it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well said. Windman42 also mentioned here 9 episodes total for Daredevil. This is just the first 6 so far. It's interesting because I remember at one point they kind of teased that there'd be upwards of 18 episodes, and then there was the rewrites and everything, and now they're down to 9. So hopefully that's for the best. What I am hoping for, though, is still at 45-minute to an hour length in terms of episodes. If they Disneyfy it and make it like, that 20 minute episodes or 26-minute episodes, I will definitely feel very, very disappointed, especially coming from watching the Netflix shows and them being pretty long episodes and pretty fulfilling story kind of overall. So guys, we have 54 people in the chat watching live. I meant to ask, if you don't mind, hit the like button. Definitely appreciate it. It sends the stream out to everybody who might not be seeing it in their feeds to watch either live or on replay. It's very, very appreciated. But is there anybody else on the panel that's excited for The Last of Us 2 here?
I am,
season 2. You are? Yeah. What are your thoughts on it, Aaron?
To be fair, I've played computer games nearly my whole life, and I hold both of those in a separate little box in my head of like just awesome, amazing games. Like I can't speak highly enough of those two games. The storytelling, the atmosphere, it's just perfect. And then when they did the show, I'm always skeptical of a TV from game or a film from game situation, but I thought they smashed it, like totally smashed it when they brought that first season out. And then my wife also watched it, and she went through all that emotion that I'd already sort of been through when I've been playing the game, and how I've managed to keep everything under wraps so that I don't say anything to her about what's going to happen in the second one. And if they want to stretch it over 2 seasons and make it 2, fine. I think whatever way they go with that is acceptable, but I cannot wait. I'm buzzing for this.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah,
well
me
said.
too.
And it's interesting too, because of course, it's kind of a zombie style story, and Mysterio and I both live in the same city, where the first season, a lot of it was actually shot even in the downtown core. I work for a painting company, so there's a scene in a gym where after they were done the filming of the show, we as a paint team had to go in and repaint the gym back to being like a regular gym again. There was also a section of alleyway in an area called the Plus 15 downtown, where we had to repaint all of the alleyway after they just destroyed it, made it look post-apocalyptic. But I was laughing as Mysterio said earlier that he has dreams about zombies, because how much did that probably fuck with the guy if he was downtown Calgary and he sees this happen? He's like, I'm dreaming. Oh God, it's horrible. So is there anybody else on the panel that's excited for The Last of Us 2?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first season, and particularly the games as well. I wasn't as big a fan of the second one. The first game was incredible, and when it first came out, I think it just really blew everything else out of the water in terms of the graphics, the story, the acting and stuff. And one of the greatest, I think, scenes for me in any video game was the bit where they kind of walk out onto that balcony and they see the giraffes walking across, and obviously they did that in the TV show as well. But yeah, just a genuinely like jaw-dropping moment, I think, in gaming, and just so good, and I did enjoy the interpretation for the TV show. Yeah, so I think as long as it stays strong, I'm quite happy for them to split it out over 2, because it means we've got 2 more seasons to watch. So yeah,
hell yeah, as long as it's not drawn out like to an annoying extent, you know what I mean? Because there is some slowness even in the game, as like I just recently replayed game 2, and they kind of go over like day 1 and day 2 of certain areas both like twice for 2 different characters, right? And there's some drawn out aspect of it, but there's also some amazing world building and story building. And like you said, Pete, in the first season there's some like shot for shot scenes of that first game in the show, and they did an amazing job. So I am very, very excited. I'm still not totally
Sorry, Ben. I just had one more thing I just thought of. But when the first game came out originally, I think it might have been PS3. I think when it first dropped. Now I was a lot younger back then when that came out, but I played it then, and I remember thinking, "Wow, this is excellent." I then replayed it again when they sort of remastered it on the PS4, and again I was a bit older then, so I sort of got the storylines a little bit more than what I did when I played it originally, and again that hit me just as hard. And then when it did they did the remaster on PS5, and I got that, having become a dad by that point, that introduction, as a game to be that powerful, to hit 3 different stages of my life almost, where I could appreciate it again and again and again. It's just incredible. Like, it is actually amazing.
devastating, right? Like when Joel loses his daughter in the beginning. Yeah, devastating.
Yeah, and yet that never hit me as hard as it did like now, because I could really resonate with that feeling almost. Yeah.
Speaking of which, and I don't have it on any slide, so I won't show it, Aaron. But Aaron sent me a beautiful video the other day of his young daughter saying, "You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts." And it was so cute. And so it was so cute. So I said, I'd love to share it. He said, well, let me chat with the wife first. Totally fair. It's a public platform. So,
maybe one day
I may, if you're okay with it though, what I might do is take at least the soundbite from it.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
If I can take the soundbite from it and add it into the show, I will, because it was very, very cute, very, very sweet, and funny to see somebody out there in the world having some fun with the show. So, guys, let's move on, because I got one more entertainment topic I want to talk to you guys about before we jump into our member giveaway, and then all of our 6-scale, all of our 6-scale news. The results are in for Captain America: Brave New World. Last week, I took myself to the movie theater and saw this by myself. I had a really good time with it overall, to be honest. I think, I was shocked. Hopefully it's an Amazon package or a figure. Or a figure. I had a really good time with it. I had seen the reviews. I'd even watched some spoiler stuff before I went and saw the movie, just to see like why people were hating on it so much. It wasn't a perfect movie. It definitely wasn't. There were some aspects of it that I'm like, I feel like that wasn't very well thought out, or for example, like I really, not to get too into spoilers, I was really hoping that we'd see him take the superhero, like the superhero, hard thing to say, the superhero serum at some point. And he didn't, and like there's some aspects there that I thought were a little off, but overall I had a fun time with it. I don't think it necessarily deserves a 51%.
Can I just warn you that if my doorbell goes now, I'm going to shit myself.
It's
10:30 at night. That won't sit well.
That's fair. Don't shit yourself though. That's a horrible reaction. Just politely go and check. These are the 5 lowest critically reviewed films of Marvel so far. I was curious if there are any winners in this list for you guys. Like if you had to pick the best of the worst for you guys, what is the best of the worst here?
It's definitely better than any of those. I saw it on Monday, and I think it's better than any of those on there. I don't know why it's
me too.
So low, to be honest.
Yeah. So you Brave New World would be your pick, Pete.
Of those, sure. Yeah. I thought it was okay.
Valkyrie, I muted you. Can you hear us there? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Of the worst list here, what one stands out to you as being your favorite of this list? And let us know in the chat, guys, as well. Which one of this list do you guys like the most, and why?
I actually did like Brave New World. It was a fun movie. I took my wife to see it for Valentine's Day, and
nice.
It was a great movie. I mean, it's not like what do you call it, Endgame, but still, it was a fun movie. You could relax and enjoy it.
For sure. Did it make you want any of the figures, Valkyrie?
Yeah, now I do want. I want the Red Hulk, and even though I do have the first Falcon figure, first Falcon Captain America figure, I'm thinking maybe I want the second one too. Maybe being a bit greedy there.
Yeah, I'm feeling kind of the same way. I'm not going to lie. At first, I thought the white outfit for Cap was my favorite, and while it's still a really cool freaking look, by the end of the new film, I was like, I could get on board having Sam in the blue outfit on the shelf. You represented Cap for me really well, I thought, by the end of that film. So Aaron, what about you, buddy? Have you seen the new film yet? And if not, do you have a preference list on the rest of these, or have you seen none of these? Are these all ones that you've tried to avoid?
Do you know what, Ben? Not seen any of that list. I haven't seen the new film. None of those
you
ever
gotta stop
really.
watching RoboCop. God damn!
I know I'm going to enjoy it. Let's not go down that road again.
Your like There's no RoboCop in any of these films. But
I focus on my time, but I never like to take the risk on a film anymore. So I just rewatch the same ones. I watched Last of Us though. That's up there.
Last of Us is beautiful. Fair. Okay. Well, you know what? Tell you what. You got some homework to do at some point over the next year of being a dad. If you have any downtime, watch one or two of these. See how you like it. Let us know.
All right,
and
I'll do that. And Pete writes down.
Jay, what about? That's right.
Yeah.
Jay
That's my
Mysterio. I know you had a chance to see Brave New World. How do you think it ranks in terms of this list? At the top, the bottom?
I would say,
Where are you at?
I would say it would be the top of this list, especially comparing it to the Marvels. I thought that was a terribly awful movie, but without getting into like the spoiler territory, I mean, it's not as like Brave New World is not as good as, let's say, Winter Soldier, which is probably my top 2 Marvel movies of all time. It's definitely, in my opinion, better than Eternals as well. But the only downside to Brave New World, I would say, is it's pretty obvious where the reshoots were taking place and how they kind of try to put band-aids in the plot holes, I guess, and how they tried to move that story forward, because there's a lot of good ideas in there, but unfortunately it just didn't pan out, or it didn't satisfy the plot towards the end of the movie. So that's kind of what held it back, in my opinion. But besides that, it's a lot better than this list here. I would say even Ant-Man is up there. Ant-Man and Brave New World would be the top 2 on this list, I would say, and the rest could just trash. Get rid of it.
I mean, I even liked Eternals. I just felt like it didn't necessarily relate well to everything else that was going on, and then they just kind of forgot about it for a big period of time. Secret Invasion, there were aspects of it that I thought were fun, but that what's her name, Emilia Clarke, her character in that is now like a wildly super powered being. I'm curious if we're ever even going to see her again. She's got like all of the different superpowers from everybody, just because you could, lick the hair off Thor, not Hor. My apologies. You could lick the hair off Thor and become Thor. Don't lick any horse. God damn. It's my dream. It's my dream all over again. It's coming to fruition. Oh God, you hate to see it.
Off the balcony.
Jesus. Fair. No, and well said, Mysterio. What about you, Press X? Any of these stand out to you? Have you had a chance to see the new film?
Yeah, I've definitely had the chance to see. I mean, I saw it the day before it came out in IMAX 3D, and nice. For me, I had no expectations going in. I certainly didn't expect Endgame, because let's face it took us 10 years to get to Endgame, and how many films? We didn't immediately start with Endgame, and along the way, those Marvel movies, they some were hits, some were misses, but overall it told a story. So now I feel like this is a bit of a reset, and this felt like a bit of a reset. I will agree with Jay that the films, there were a lot of really great ideas in this film, a lot of story threads, a lot of things that started, however they weren't resolved. And so in that way, it felt a little unfulfilled. But overall, I had a fun time with the movie. It was a fun Captain America movie. That end battle, I had a great time with that. And I can't wait to see, where they take it from here. If they only improve from here, then we're going to end up with an in-game situation, however long from now. But yeah, this feels like a good start to building out a new area of the MCU.
That's fair. No, well said. I think, I saw some of the critics' responses to the film. Some of the critic responses were being, like some of the hand-to-hand combat, or like the fighting was a little lackadaisy. You could see like really people kind of throwing really slow punches around. I didn't really get that for the most part. I thought that was kind of cool. Overall, I thought it was fine. I also saw people saying, you could totally tell when every reshoot happened. And I'm like, I honestly couldn't really tell where the reshoots happened. I think that was people being... I think that was people knowing that reshoots had happened, so part of their dislike of the film was, well, I can see why, the story was disjointed. I think you put it well, Press X, when you said lots of great ideas, just not necessarily the greatest execution, but that doesn't necessarily mean you could just identify reshoots. At least I couldn't, and I'm a pretty big film fan. But
I think you could certainly at least guess where the reshoots were, but that's if you're looking for the reshoots. If you go in looking for problems, you will find problems. And if you go in looking for, I'm going to find the areas where the reshoots happened, then you're probably going to find them, if that's your intention going into this film.
For sure. Absolutely. Angel in the chat says, too many people content with mediocrity. I mean, yeah, I think that's at least a take for sure. I think the issue is that when you've had a film franchise of over 40 films plus all the TV content, it's probably pretty difficult to keep it pretty relevant and exciting for the people who have had now over a decade of these films. However, I also do agree that sometimes we're willing to give some level of mediocrity a pass just because we don't mind going and just enjoying a popcorn kind of superhero film and turning the brain off a little bit. If I really turned my brain on for this one, I might have been more critical, but I also didn't have a bad time at it, the film. So it was,
No.
Is it mediocrity? Like maybe to a certain extent, but what about you, Marco? I know you saw it. I know you were kind of on the fence. You were kind of 50-50, maybe in line with the reviews. What was your take on the film and how it relates to this list?
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the film. I thought it was fine enough, and definitely there were some really fun parts. I like the Red Hulk fight, but I just thought some of the writing was not great. Some of the characters weren't super fleshed out. The one that I had really high hopes for, and I think the actor is, part Colombian and part Mexican, but the new Falcon, I felt like
me too, man.
The way he acted and the way that he was written was just so stiff and like just it just didn't hype up the character at all. When they were talking about him being in the Avengers, I was like, please no, like don't bring this guy back at all, like put him on the sidelines. So just things like that just didn't necessarily live up to, their first Captain America trilogy is just so great. And even like the first Avenger, there's some corny parts in there, right? So
sure.
You're launching a new franchise or a new Cap, so we'll give it some grace. But yeah, definitely not in the top tier of films. And I will say Quantumania was actually one that I really enjoyed. Like it's very goofy, terrible CGI, but I thought like overall it was a fun film. So on this list, I know people can kind of pick and choose, but the Marvels, boy, that was a stinker to me. Gigi loved it, but I thought like it was just no good.
It's interesting how film hits us all in different ways, though, right? Because when I saw it by myself, I didn't know anything about the actor playing Falcon. I really didn't care about another Falcon because, to be honest, Sam still felt kind of like Falcon, just in cap gear and all of that to me going in. I actually liked the Falcon way more than I expected. I liked their dynamic as friends for the most part. I felt like there was a little bit of meat on the bone with their story. He was a little stiff, for sure, maybe, but he also was, he very much idolized Sam in the film, and I thought that also came through. So I kind of expected to not care about that character at all and left the film going, hey, it wasn't too bad. If he shows up again, I won't hate it. But I wouldn't root for it necessarily either. So yeah, it's funny how it all hits us differently. Dave, last but certainly not least, once again, sir, any thoughts on the list here, how this hits? And by the way, thank you to Winman42 who put in there the audience numbers: Quantumania 81%, Brave New World 80, Marvels 80, Eternal 77, Secret Invasion only 43. Holy cow. So really, most people who are fans really didn't like Secret Invasion, but obviously higher critic, or, lower critic scores versus audience scores, right? So what are your thoughts there, Dave?
I don't know, man. Secret Invasion kind of lost me when they killed Robin. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. But like,
it's fair.
I have yet to see Brave New World. I was gonna see it today, but like I only had one like opportunity to go, and I was like, I don't want to leave the house right now. So I didn't go. But like, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'll see it this week probably. But everything else on here, they are the lower ranked offerings, from the MCU across the board. And not for nothing, like Secret Invasion definitely suffered from all of its issues. The Eternals, I enjoy the Eternals. But like, it's one of those things like you talked about, like having to turn your brain off sometimes. Like, look, I started doing that crap several movies ago because I couldn't handle the aggravation that came from all the things that I thought were wrong with my favorite superheroes in these movies. And there's always going to be something wrong, and you're just not going to enjoy it at that point. So I had to stop. Like, this is an alternate universe. This is not, I don't care what Kevin Feige says. Fuck him. It's not 616. He can eat a dick. Friggin', this is not the main Marvel continuity, so none of it matters. So fine. I'll give it all grace for that, and I'll enjoy what I can from it. I liked the Marvels. I I really actually wanted a figure of Captain Marvel from that movie. I liked that costume. I liked the design of it. I wanted all the figures from that movie. I still want friggin' Miss Marvel. I don't know where the hell is she, you know? But like, I think it's all right. They've not been able to top the first, you know, big friggin' season of MCU, so to speak, up to Endgame, and to a lesser extent, you know, Homecoming. But like, it's also a lot to top. You know, that was a pretty big showing right there. That was a pretty big thing that they did. And yeah, who's going to follow that up satisfactorily? You know, it's all subjective. It really is. Eddie doesn't like it, but he can be wrong, and that's okay. We can still be friends. But it is subjective, and people are going to love it. People are going to hate it. I don't necessarily think that like audience attendance on opening weekend really matters, because okay, people didn't show up. That doesn't mean they know anything, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But also, I don't know, right? I have a hard time trusting Rotten Tomatoes too, just because critics are jerk offs anyway. But to be fair, this does reflect a lot of what people tend to say, the fan base specifically, about the MCU so far. So these are, you know, definitely the lower ranked offerings, except for Brave New World. I haven't seen it yet. I can't imagine it being less liked than Love and Thunder. I can't imagine that.
Yeah, actually, I'm surprised Love and Thunder's not on this list. Now that you say that,
yeah,
because I did like that movie
weird.
Less than the ones here.
That's weird to me, as much as people hate on that. But like, you know, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. It's whatever. They're gonna keep making movies. They're gonna keep making shows. I'm gonna keep watching them. I've seen everything in the theater so far. I'm not gonna stop doing that because I love the MCU. I'll watch it all. I don't care. I'll slop it up.
Can't believe this happened. It's the way she goes, buddy. The fucking way she goes.
It's the way she goes. Dave's gonna watch it at some point. You'll have to see.
I'm gonna watch it,
guys. Let's move on, because I want to get on to our channel member giveaway. I want to say hi to everybody in the chat, and then I want to talk about some 6-scale stuff while we still have everybody here, just so everybody's aware. Time zone wise, Pete and Aaron only have about an hour left with us, because it is very late for them to be here. So I'm going to try and get as much out of those boys as possible before I let them loose, of course. But guys, let us know what your thoughts were on that. I wanted to give a really quick shout out though to Collector Joey. He is one of our channel members here on the Ben Thomas Show, but I've also been one of his channel members as a result for quite some time as well, just over a year. I think we've been a year for each other, which is really cool. And I got this really awesome poker chip in the mail the other day, sent all the way over here to Canada. In fact, I actually thought it was it was somebody else's mail at first when I opened it, because it looked like a weird like customs form, and I saw his full name at the top, and I was like, nope, not me. And I almost put it in the return to sender box before I realized that my name was in little writing at the bottom. So dude, I am blown away by this gift. I don't know if you're in the show today, but thank you so much. Very, very cool member perk, and honestly helped to inspire me to say, okay, screw it. I'm just going to take whatever's in the account that I've been saving for everybody and do my own channel giveaway as well. So Joey, you are the man. Make sure you go and follow Collector Joey if you don't already. It would definitely be appreciated from my end here. Another big shout out to our channel members here as well before we give our giveaway here. We do have 19 channel members in blue that have now crossed the 1-year channel membership marker. So guys, that's amazing. Thank you for supporting this show for so long. I hope you continue to do so. Hope you guys liked the giveaway challenge today, as well as to all of the other folks who are on their way. Everybody there, for the most part, is beyond that 1 month and 2 month section of membership, but there is a pin in the chat there. So if you guys are interested in becoming a Tough Nut Crew, being eligible for these types of giveaways over time, all of the things, or you just want to be part of the Tough Nut Crew membership, please feel free to join us. We would love to have you guys. If not, just hope you guys keep watching, subscribe, enjoy the show as always. But let's see here. Let's bring this up. So this is our figure giveaway. So I took the liberty. I have already typed out all 38 names because that was a lot of names. I didn't want you guys to see me type them in wrong as I progressed through the duck race here. So if you guys don't mind on the panel, give us a little bit of a drum roll. I'm going to click the enter button here, and I'm going to bring the duck race up on the screen. So we got a minute race. We got 38 people. Let's see who's going to do it. Who's going to win the membership, or I should say the figure, the xenomorph. Let's go. Okay, let's see who's got it. Figurecraft. Figurecraft is out in front.
Oh, but the Batman's down there. Batman's got to win, right? Batman.
I hope. I mean,
big money.
Wins. Batman's been over a year membership. Figurecraft has been over a year. Feezy's been over a year. Oh, Batman's fallen behind. Collecting Weekly's coming up and behind.
King Churro, Collector Joey.
Oh, hey, man. If Collector Joey gets it, people are going to say this is rigged since I just shouted him out. Balls is coming up in front.
Balls.
Balls are rooting for you. At the back.
Daniel? Oh, man. This is crazy.
Wait. Who's that X-Men Supreme? Who's that?
Oh, hey, well, I got the most boring duck.
Also, if any of the panel wins, it's also still not rigged. I
Oh.
Oh, the Batman's coming up from behind.
Oh, Batman
wins it.
Coming from
Wow. Wow, from behind too. Batman, are you in the chat? Can you guys let us know? Let's see here, because if I did ask everybody to be in the chat. If you are not here, I am going to give everybody 24 hours to claim the prize. If nobody claims it, I'm going to put it back up for the race here. So
I did see him talking earlier.
Was he in there? Okay, let's just see. If he pops up, let me know in the chat.
There he is.
Congratulations to the Batman. He is here. The Batman, I am here. Thank you so much with the nuts. So, dude, thank you so much. You've been a channel member for over a year. You're one of those 19 folks. So congratulations. Send me your details to Instagram, and I will get that figure out to you. The only thing I ask is if once you get the figure, because it is a bit extended, I think it's first quarter of 2026, so it's a couple months away, of course, still at this point. Please just take a photo of yourself with the figure so I can post it to all the channel members once you receive it. So congratulations, man. Thank you for being a channel member.
Because it's Batman.
Good luck to everybody else going forward in the future. We're going to continue these types of channel giveaways overall. These, of course, are our emojis for the channel membership as well as our nut badges. So make sure you guys know where you stand in terms of the nut badges. See if we can get anybody to a nut buster there in 3 years. That'd be pretty cool. So, but of course, with all that said, as we always do, let me say a very quick hi to the chat, and then let's get into some 6 scale news.
Is that everyone? I keep wanting more.
Nuts!
Assemble.
Nuts assemble. You love to see it here. Let's see who's all in the chat with us. And bear with me, guys, because we got lots of folks joining us today. We got Classy Thomas, SpongeBob SquareBalls in the chat with us. Good evening, my fellow nuts. Good to see you here, buddy. We got Valkyrie Magnus on the panel as well as on the chat and in the membership. Good to see you here. Aaron Articulates. Make sure you follow Aaron today after the stream, especially when he goes out the back door. He's going to have a rant, I'm sure, about not winning that figure. You hate to see it. We got King Ting Ling in the chat with us. Mark P is here with us as well. Hey, collectors, good to see you, buddy. We got Big Reeb, as Dean would say, in the chat. LFG, what's up? What's going on, Mr. Ben? Everybody, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. We got X-Men Supreme as well, saying hi to everybody. We got Summers Fam in the chat. Haven't seen you in a while, buddy. Hope you're doing very, very well. Thank you for being here today. We got Agent of Gen Z in the chat with us. Hey, first time on. What's up? Hell yeah. Happy to have you here, man. I hope you enjoy the show so far today. And this is episode 64. So just in case you've missed previous streams, there's lots of great stuff there for everybody to go back and rewatch as well. We got Angry Dog Hobby. I love that. The Jungle Predator announcement next week. Whew. let's hope for that for sure. We got Jagron2 in the chat. Mr. Lane Kramer made his name the hardest name to say on YouTube. You'll love to see it. We got Miriam Aberintos. Hopefully I got that correctly.
That's my
Miriam,
wife.
thank you for... Hey, hell yeah, an extra viewer. Thank you so much for being here and supporting your man, and for allowing him to take 2 hours of his Sunday to be here with us as well. Appreciated. We got Sith Scale Collector in the chat. Make sure you go and check out Mike's Adventure World on Instagram. He's been doing some really cool stuff with 3D printing lately. Him and Collecting Weekly Zach's Wonderland. So check those guys out. Mike's Adventure World, right? That's right. Marco, I'm saying that. Oh, Marco's gone. You hate to see it. We got
that's right.
Pop Culture. Right. Okay, that's what I thought. We got Pop Culture Relics here with us as well. Luis, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well, my friend. We'll get you back here pretty soon. Let's just see here. We got 12-inch Moose Stream. It wouldn't be a chat without you, buddy. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry you didn't win the figure this time, but maybe on the next round. We got Jose Plus. Jose G. Hernandez with us as well. Good to see you, buddy. We'll get you back here soon as well. Saphira Cosplay, I would love to get her on the show at some point to get her take on figures and give some insight on cosplay as well. So let me know if that's ever something you're interested in. It's always nice getting a little extra female blood in and amongst all of us male collectors for sure. We got Press X to continue, of course. We got Blair Dad Life. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here as always. Let's see here. Daniel SC. One of our newer channel members. Love to see it here. Oh my god, my first Let's Get Nuts live stream. What have I got myself into? You don't even know. We were sharing dreams in here. We're talking about balconies a lot. It's weird, honestly, but it's good. It's good. We got Figure in a bubble. He's been smoking that killer Canadian Kush. I actually try to not smoke before the show, or else I really honestly would stumble over all of my words. But that's for after. You're right in that one. We got Ryan Dean in the chat. What's good? Party people. Stoked of all kind of words. I had to get nutty with y'all. Thanks for being here, my friend. We got Astro Figure. Astro, am I saying this right? Astral Figure? Mysterio. This is somebody for you, buddy. This is one of your buddies. Love to see it, maybe.
Sure.
What's that? You're not really sure? Somebody who just supports Mysterio. You got a fan out there in the world. You love to see it. We got Gio, the movie canon, in the chat. Hello, collectors. Good to see you, buddy. Again, one of those folks out there, kind soul. Make sure you follow the movie canon on YouTube if you have not already. Wonderful live streams, often on Sunday evenings. So don't miss that for sure. We got Winman42, of course, in the chat with us as well. We got the Batman saying hi to us earlier in the day, and the winner of our giveaway. So once again, congrats to you, good sir. Although I shouldn't assume you're a sir. Maybe you just are a lady who likes Batman. So either way, thank you for being here. We got Gary's Grails in the chat. Hello, folks. Good to see you here. 16fix, of course, with us. Honest Hansel, who says here, I've never met Ben personally, but wonder if I jumped off his balcony. Honestly, you haven't, surprisingly, yet. But Honest Hansel is actually the previous figure winner. He won King Shark on the first channel giveaway we ever had. So happy to have you back here, buddy, as always. We got Katera in the chat with us as well, with Who's That Hottie? Marco did respond to say that is just Dave, so we all are aware. Field Burn in the chat with us. Good to see you, my friend, as well. X-Men Supreme, what's up? Love to see it. X-Men, you got some fans out there, buddy, as well. Collection Obsession as well. Big ol' Fern, good to see you here, buddy. I still need to finish season 1. What that must be The Last of Us, I'm betting. Let's see here. Is that almost everybody, guys? I don't want to leave anybody out if we can avoid it. JB_Velo. I have no desire to watch any of these movies. Hey, you're not the only one. Apparently, we have some friends on the panel here who has not as well. Angel in the chat there, of course. Dirk Diggler's stunt double, the kickstand. I think the reason why the fights weren't as fluid as when they were Steve Rogers fights is due to Sam not having that super soldier serum. Yeah, very, very possible. Very possible. Let's see here. Thanks for bearing with us, guys. And we have just around 60 people in the chat, guys. If you don't mind hitting the like button to support the show, it would definitely be appreciated. Peter Cass. Wow, I'm not even going to read that out loud, but that's fair. You hate to see it. You know, once you start watching the movies, maybe I'll put you in the beginning of the duck race, okay? Pete, you hate to see it. So, Mitchell Lawrence here with us as well. Good to see you, buddy. Last but not least, Movie Canon here is celebrating 14 months of channel membership. Dude, that's amazing. Thank you for being such a great support. I definitely appreciate it. Guys, let's move on because we still got lots of show left. Thanks for bearing with me while I said hi to everybody. I wanted to highlight this. This is actually something that Will Foxification put in his Instagram, and I sniped it this afternoon because I thought it might be something worthy of sharing. Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. May the 4th is around the corner now. You can get $5 in rewards for registration, which, you know, with incoming tariffs, $5 isn't going to get you very far, but $5 is $5. I was curious from you guys, the panel, though. Is there any Star Wars characters you're hoping that we get this Star Wars celebration or this May the 4th? Valkyrie, I'm going to start with you. Guest of honor. What are any Star Wars figures you're like, oh man, we got to have that character again?
Wow. Let me just take a quick look back here. Let's see. What would I really like? I think I want okay, this is it. I think what are really cool are TIE Fighter figures. I never got them, but I see other people have them in their collection. I think they look awesome. I would love it if they put out some more of those.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. What about you, Pete? Any Star Wars characters like, man, come on, give us one.
Yeah,
give us this character.
Definitely the TIE Fighter pilot from A New Hope or original trilogy. The Sideshow one goes for ridiculous money, and it's okay, but you know it's one of the better Sideshow ones. I think so. That the AT-AT pilot as well, driver that again Sideshow did a long time ago, and I would like a Boosh figure, Leia. I think that would be good. Apart from that, yeah, I think you know, I know there's probably going to be lots of 2.0s and artisans and reissues coming, but I think for me, yeah, probably those three. I'd definitely snap them up.
Yeah, totally fair. You know, it's interesting, just to tag in before I go to you, Aaron. I've got the New Hope Luke in my collection, and while it definitely still looks like Luke, he's still one of my probably worst aging figures now in the collection. I'm really hoping for a New Hope round of Han, Luke, and Leia. To me, the Leia that stands out in my mind is still the one with the, you know, the cinnamon buns on the side of her head and the white outfit. Like that's the Leia that I've always truly wanted in the collection. So what about you, Aaron? I don't even know if you're much of a Star Wars guy, to be fully honest with you. Is there any characters you're characters you're expecting to see or hoping to see?
Big Star Wars fan, Ben. That's probably most of my actual collection, to be honest, is Star Wars.
Hell yeah.
But I think actually on the very first time I came on Let's Get Nuts with you, I think I mentioned about a Cal Kestis from Survivor, the game. Because they gave you they gave us that trooper from it, didn't they? And then left it there. I just think it'd be a really cool looking figure though as well. Like, I think you could just put him in with your collection; it'd look great. And yeah, I'd love to see that, but I've got a feeling it won't probably happen, will it?
No, yeah, probably. Yeah, it's hard to say. You never know.
Honestly. You never know. No, you don't know.
They could surprise us. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say. Even just like Pete was saying about the pilot, like that's not one that stands out in my mind as one that I personally would ask for, but you're 100% right when you say that thing is like wild on the secondary at this point, and not even like the greatest figure, right? So.
And I guess as well they've started just putting out a few game related Star Wars again, haven't they? We've had the Darth Revan and stuff come through, so you never know. It might be on the pipeline somewhere along the line. I just think it'd look really good.
True. Collection Obsession here says, I hope we get Tauntauns or a Wampa, Throne Room Artisan Leia, Episode 1 Obi-Wan. There's a $500 Obi-Wan floating around my Facebook Marketplace right now, and I keep looking at it and I'm like, no, don't do it. Marco, I can hear his words being like, don't buy backwards, Ben. They're going to give us another one.
And reissuing everything.
Yeah, he's been right about most of them, I will say. So yeah, the Tauntaun though, I did see. I want to say it was CT603. Shout out to CT if I'm right. I think I saw him get a Tauntaun statue the other day in 6 scale, and I saw some posts about that. I think it was him, but
Inbox Studio. I've got one of those.
Yeah, that looks awesome. Pretty freaking cool. The box was massive on that bad boy. You don't even realize how big they are. But then it makes sense, right? If Luke could fit in the body of that thing, it would have to be pretty.
Yeah, no, it's
sizable.
It's awesome, and it's fully furred and everything. It's
that's pretty freaking cool.
Half to a third of the price that Hot Toys would charge for it, but yeah.
That's pretty freaking cool. 16fix has gifted 5 The Ben Thomas Show memberships. Dude, thank you so much for your support, as always. Just being here and being supportive as a friend all these years. I love you like a brother. But thank you for being so generous with that as well. Hopefully, it means that we've got some more people that stick around in the Tough Nut crew. That's exciting. This is for you, good sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Definitely
it seems like Equan was one of those people, though. So this guy just stays winning every time there's a giveaway. He's always
I was
getting
shocked he didn't win the figure, to be fully honest. So yeah,
Honestly.
I guess he wasn't in the membership yet. Now he will. You hate to see it. You've created the next winner. You hate to see it.
Exactly.
Jay, what about you, Mysterio? What are any 6 scale Star Wars that you're hoping to see this May the 4th? Maybe top figure.
I don't have anything in particular in mind, but I am happy that they announced Darth Malgus. I was hoping Hot Toys would do that one, so when they announced it, I was pretty ecstatic. For a figure, a new announcement, maybe a younger Anakin, maybe. It's the only thing I can really think of.
Is Padawan Anakin? That's been announced, right? Or was it
No,
just
the,
I don't remember now.
No, from the...
like episode 1.
Episode 1,
young
Anakin.
kid Anakin.
And then have him come with like a Speed Racer diorama or something in that case, since he would be a smaller figure. I think that would be pretty cool to have and give to the community. But besides that, no, man, I'm pretty okay with what's coming out right now. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, and I don't even have the room to get anything more Star Wars. But that would be good.
That's fair. If they give us a young Anakin like that, I would hope that they would also give us at least 2 more battle droids. Not battle droids, sorry, pit droids. Because I thought it was weird that they gave us that droid set that one time, but only gave us 1 pit droid. But then you always see them as at least 3 together. So who's going to buy that set multiple times just in order to get 3 pit droids in the collection, right? So he should come with some pit droids, in my opinion, especially if he comes with a little diorama, like you said. Now, Press X, I know you are surrounded by some pretty wonderful Star Wars stuff there, good sir.
Yes, for anyone who's questioning that TIE Fighter pilot and whether it's a good figure,
it looks pretty freaking good, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely one of their better ones. Yeah.
Now, would I want a Hot Toys version? Absolutely, a Hot Toys Snowtrooper, AT-AT Driver. I mean, I have the Sideshow versions, but to have a Hot Toys version would be fantastic in the collection. Where's my Jar Jar Binks? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You promised me.
Yeah.
You promised me Hot Toys. You promised Howard. You promised me a Jar Jar Binks, and now you're playing with my emotions. So what's the deal with that? But I would think that with this being the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, that we would hopefully get a Dark Side Anakin or a sculpted option for Episode 3 Anakin Skywalker. And because the Jedi Starfighter fell through with Jazz Inc., Hot Toys, you've been showing us a Jedi Starfighter for ages. Either like nut up or shut up. Seriously.
Very appropriate for this channel. Thank you. Yes. Well said. And great picks, dude. Great picks. Thanks for sharing that Sideshow one actually as well. And you have a fan in the chat there. She says this or that's awesome, Saphira. That's cool. Hey, let us know if you're going to make a pink version of that Starfighter pilot, or that I should say, what is it? A TIE Fighter pilot. My apologies, Mr. Marco. You have quite the collection brewing as well. Actually, I think when I met you still had bigger collection than me, but your collection is expanded all throughout your home now. What is one character that you would be like, I need to have this May 4th?
Yeah, don't tell GJ. I've only got about 10 figures, so
okay,
I'll keep it at that. But no, I want to dream big for sure. I'm with Pete, and I think JB in the chat said it in terms of the Bounty Hunter Leia. We desperately need that look, and there's no excuse for them not to give us that. I also would love a Jabba, and I know Sideshow has done one, which looks fine enough, but I think Hot Toys could really crush that, especially after they did the do back. I think that might be the next thing.
Very true.
And then I'd love to see the speeder, the land speeder with a reissue or 2.0 of Farm Boy Luke, and with Obi, like you were saying, don't chase that one because he's got to be coming eventually. They could reissue more Stormtroopers, so I think that'd be great. Honestly, it's not too big of a vehicle. I think it's manageable enough that I could see Hot Toys get into it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well said. I would also love to see another version of Yoda, maybe Empire Strikes Back Yoda, like going back to like puppet Yoda, because that one's pretty hard to find now. Although the first figure, the 1.0, was actually pretty amazing still, even to this day. The hair falls out pretty aggressively if you're not careful, but still pretty cool figure for sure. Dave, any thoughts on Star Wars there? Anything you'd hope to see this May the 4th?
HK-47.
An HK.
That's all I want. That's all I fucking want.
That's a deep cut. All right.
Yeah, that's the only thing. That's the only thing I want, man. I want to put him right next to Revan, and I want to make a little friggin' like voice bubble for him, calling everybody meat bags. That's all I want, man. That's the only thing that I want.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yep.
Well, guys, all great picks. Let us know in the chat what you guys are thinking there. I've seen quite a few in line with the panel for sure, in terms of some wish list items. Let's see. Let's circle back after May the 4th. Let's see what we get. I was a little disappointed. I think was it last year when Return of the Jedi? I thought we'd get a little bit more from Return of the Jedi. It might have even been 2 years ago now already. All my time is blending together. You hate to see it, but yeah, overall, I am very, very excited to see what happens with Star Wars, and I hope it inspires some love for it again, because I know it's been dipping in people's radar a little bit lately, and but so is Marvel, and now we're going to Terminator and all those things. So I want to keep that relevant for us all. Now, talking about relevance, Blitzway is back on the scene. Blitzway is teased a Back to the Future premium 1/6 scale vehicle coming soon, and it sounds like they're looking at the DeLorean Mark II from Back to the Future 2. I've got the DeLorean Mark II from Hot Toys. To be honest, it's easily one of my favorite pieces in my collection. I've got it out of my TV stand every single night. I turn that thing on while I watch my movies or play my games or anything like that. It's a standout piece. I thought they did a great job. I love that the Mr. Fusion is removable. I love that they have the better lighting on the interior now, and I like that it's USB-C. But Blitzway is known for some pretty wonderful vehicles, most notably, of course, their Ecto-1. That's been a chase vehicle for a lot of people for a really long time. So I'm a little bit surprised that they're going the DeLorean route, especially since Hot Toys is just dramatically overcapitalized on DeLoreans. Whereas it feels like there's still an opportunity there on the Ghostbusters side of life. But Pete, I'd be curious about you. What do you think about? Yeah, right. It's a dream. It's a dream.
You've been smoking some of that.
Smoking some of it.
Yeah. No, you didn't agree.
Tell me what you think about the DeLorean here, buddy.
Yeah, I find it a bit odd because I think that obviously Hot Toys has got it well covered. I know there's lots of things that you could add to them, like carpets, real fabric seats. There's things you can improve on it, but it's kind of like how much. I know that the Ecto-1 was fantastic, but it was kind of like about $2,000 US, something like that. So it's a big jump up, and I mean, unless you're making this thing in die cast in metal, which would weigh a ton, but it would be awesome. I find it odd, and it's weird that what have you read that said it was part 2? Because obviously they've got the part 1 logo here. Which
yeah,
would be
so
a bit odd.
I've just heard collectors talking about it. I've seen it in like group chats and stuff like that. I could be wrong on that, so don't take that as a confirmed. But
I just wondered because it's got the logo from the first, and if it was the first, then I think they've got more potential for sales, because obviously the original Hot Toys one is very old now. Still great.
That's true.
But as you say, they improved a lot on the second one, which I've got now. Because particularly internal lighting, I that was a big upgrade in my opinion. So it's interesting. It's always a bit odd when you have these like overlapping licenses, where people are going. You very rarely get direct competition in 1/6, where there's two companies making pretty much exactly the same thing. So it'd be interesting. I definitely will, keep an eye on it. But I think if you're talking sort of Ecto-1, I mean, it's a lot smaller, but it could be very expensive. It could be awesome. I'm not sure whether or not. I think if you want a DeLorean, you've probably got one already. But yeah.
Yeah, well said. Because you're not wrong too. The Ecto-1 is the size of like a small fridge, right? I mean,
it's probably twice as long as
it's a huge vehicle.
The DeLorean's not that big in terms of
overall
vehicles. No.
100% right. Aaron, do you have any 6-scale vehicles? Have you ever thought about getting into 6-scale vehicles? What would be your number one vehicle if you had the opportunity to choose one? And what are your thoughts on
we know what one it is.
I actually wasn't going to. I thought I know what I could.
I believe.
Just that would make a really good police car, maybe. Like if they were to do that, maybe for a particular law enforcement type character that I don't know. I'm just pick one out of thin air. Who is there? Who could you have? Right, RoboCop maybe. Like if they did one of those. I'm just saying it could be done. I haven't been. I was very close to the Batman Returns Batmobile at one point. Very close, but it really did boil down to space. And I don't know. You moved yours on, Ben, didn't you? That newer one.
Did. Yeah, for that very reason. I couldn't fit it into any cabinet that I had. I just had nowhere to put it. And I was like, screw it.
I think even if I had, like, I don't know whether I could commit to having. I think it looked, and there's no doubt about it, they look amazing. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I would have to literally lose a shelf. I'd have to literally get rid of half my collection off the shelves to make room for a vehicle. And I can't. I'd just rather have characters, I think. But if they were to do a car for Robo, to have him posed getting out like that movie, the classic poster. Yeah, I would make the space for that.
I mean, it's just basically like a Ford Taurus.
Yeah.
But your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
I don't know if they should. But I'll hope for you in my heart. Of course, Aaron. Of course. Well said, buddy. Well said. Of course. Press X. What about you, man? I like obviously you're surrounded by figures. Do you have any vehicles in your collection? What are your thoughts on this potential news?
Do I have any vehicles? Yes, I have the Jazz Inc. 1989 Batmobile. And before I had that, I had the Hot Toys 1989 Batmobile. But yeah, it's funny because that was for me, that was my holy grail, was the 1989 Batmobile. Like when you think of iconic vehicles, there are a number of vehicles that come to mind. And that for me was one of the most iconic. And so tracking down the Hot Toys version, I thought, wow, this is amazing. And then, of course, a little while later, Jazz Inc. said, oh, hold my beer. And they came out with their version. And I struggled with actually, is this something I want to invest the money in? And so long story short, for a while there, I had 2 1/6 scale Batmobiles in my house. Of course, when I placed the order, I'm like, that'll be a problem for future Chris. And sure enough, when it showed up on my doorstep, the size of a small refrigerator, it's absolutely glorious. So when it comes to 1/6 scale vehicles, there are a handful I can count on one hand that I would actually make space for, like the Jurassic Park Ford Explorer, for instance. I do want a 1/6 scale DeLorean from Back to the Future 2. That is my favorite. And I know that Blitzway did say on their Instagram that they are making the DeLorean from Back to the Future Part 2. Now, I have a feeling this is my chance to go and find someone who's selling their Hot Toys DeLorean, because they are going to want to perhaps trade up to the Blitzway version. You're going to find people that are going to be perfectly fine with the version that they've already got. Maybe they bought all 3 from Hot Toys, and now the idea of buying another one is just completely off the table. But you will have a good number of people that will want the best version of the DeLorean that they can possibly get, and they will see this as just that.
And it's a great segue into our topic later here for Terminator, kind of closer to the end of the show, because when talking about, now this is the new hotness, is it worthy of upgrading? Are you willing to take a bit of a risk, losing a little bit of money on something that's already in your collection to get the newer upgraded version? Is it even necessary, or is it more of that kind of internal feeling we as collectors have that, oh man, now that there's something else out there that could be even slightly better, should I start already thinking about moving on something that I truly do love in my collection, like my Mark II DeLorean from Hot Toys? I don't know if I need to, but I also know that if I see this come out and it is significantly superior, or even not even significantly, even if it's superior at all, I might be like, damn it. Now I kind of want that one, you know? But that's not necessarily a healthy mentality. What are your thoughts on that, Marco, when it comes to this announcement?
Yeah, that is tough to get over, right? That's just part of the hobby. Obviously, you're always going to want the next best thing, and you got to, practice some self-control when you can. But when it's things that you really love, and I know you and I both love Back to the Future, this is going to be hard to say no to if it really looks like that big of an improvement over the Hot Toys version. And I think we can all agree there is some room for improvement, right? There's a lot of plastic. A beautiful figure, very glad to have the part 2 version, but I could see how you could take it to the next level. And I think this vehicle, there's a lot of crossover too, right? Folks that maybe don't collect this scale may be interested in purchasing that vehicle just because it's so iconic. And so, yeah, I think that there's definitely a market for this. I'm intrigued to see them do this. I know I've always said, like, once you get over $1,000 for a vehicle, I'm probably out. And so it's probably going to rule me out for this one, but I'm going to be interested anyways. And we'll see if they can come in close enough to where I'm not passing out looking at that price point. Then I could be tempted to pull the trigger. But we've just got to see. This hobby's getting more and more expensive. We're going to talk about tariffs. Yeah, I just don't know if this will be for me. But very curious to see how it turns out.
Totally the case. Valkyrie, I'll do you last on this one, buddy, and then we'll move on to the next one. What are your thoughts on a Back to the Future Blitzway tease like this? And are you a vehicle collector? Is that something that you've been interested in looking into more? What's your number one car? What would be your dream vehicle in 60?
I've always been a Back to the Future fan, but being a newer collector, I missed out on a whole bunch of those. Like, I know that they came out with a Back to the Future 3 DeLorean, but I mean, I do have the only character I have is like from Back to the Future 3, but I'm not really into the third version, but the 2 is my favorite. So I do hope to, I'm thinking like I might actually want to get this. As far as vehicles, let's see here. I don't know if you could see this here, but I do have the 89 Batman Hot Toys and the Tumbler as well, and a Bat Pod and a swoop bike also. So I like vehicles. I want to get more. I don't know if my wife wants me to get more, but eventually I would like to get Back to the Future characters, like the ones from the first and the second movie, and then eventually get the one from Back to the Future 2, because that actually is my favorite version of the DeLorean.
Fair. Totally fair. Yeah, hell yeah. I love both vehicles. For me, the Back to the Future 2 was actually my favorite of the trilogy, even though the first film is still super iconic, obviously. But just because I've always liked films that show a perspective of what the future could look like. And even though that future is now 10 years our current past, it's still cool to see what their vision for that future looked like. So, but I will also kind of say that I do hope that we get some slightly upgraded Back to the Future figures. Like, I've got the 2.0s of the Marty and the Doc, and like they're okay, but I would put them in kind of like that 7 out of 10 range. Like, the likeness is there, you can see who they are, especially with their iconic outfits, you know who they're supposed to be. But I think that there's a lot of improvement, especially on the Doc Brown sculpt that comes from Hot Toys, that 2.0 with the holes still in his head. Like, that kind of stuff was just horrible. So if they're going to keep going down the route, maybe Blitzway could give us some Ghostbusters figures, some Back to the Future figures, I meant to say, that are updated. We'll see. So, guys, we're hitting almost 70 people watching live right now. Thank you so much for getting nuts with us today. We appreciate you being here for sure. Hope you're enjoying the conversation. Hit the like if you haven't already. If you're just coming in, definitely be appreciated, guys. I also did want to just highlight this. Now, this for me feels a little fake newsy at the moment, but just as a highlight here, this was posted in a couple of groups saying that the PO will start later today for the Blitzway Ghostbusters. This was like several days ago now, and I still haven't seen that actually pop up. But I'm still hoping that we do get this pre-order, because I am not necessarily a newer collector, and I missed out on the original 4-pack of Blitzway Ghostbusters, and wow, are they wildly expensive, especially here in Canada to try and lock down. So I'd be very, very excited to see that PO go up. But as of right now, in my opinion, this is just speculation and a bit fake newsy until we actually see a PO go up for them. Now, Marco, I know you said we could skip you on this one, but I was curious on your take on tariffs because I know you did highlight tariffs a little bit. I'll be honest, guys, I don't feel like I've got much of an opinion on this quite yet. Being here in Canada, I'm not sure how it's going to affect Canadians. I have an idea of how it may affect Americans, but I will say that I get the majority of my figures from Sideshow Collectibles being in Canada, so I wouldn't be surprised if it had some level of impact on us. This was a message that's been floating around here for the last couple of days saying here that this, it basically says, I hope this message finds you well. I'm writing to share an important update. Beginning February 26, 2025, we'll be implementing a small 2% surcharge on all distributed products and a 1.25% surcharge on all Sideshow manufactured products on affected orders to help offset these new costs. These orders include any products that are arriving in our US warehouse after February 26, 2025. So to me, that sounds like, everything that's going on with tariffs in the political sphere may have a little bit of an impact on our wallets, of course, in the 6 scale community. Now, I've asked the guys here to politely refrain from their takes on politicians. I don't, we all have our thoughts on that. We don't need to get political by any stretch on this stream. You can think however you want, feel however you want. But this does suck. If this hits our wallets as collectors, it sucks. So I was curious, Marco, what your thoughts might be on this, good sir.
Yeah, I've been talking about tariffs for a while now, since there was speculation that, this administration might implement some tariffs, and it's just always a bit scary because there's a lot of reasons why, a country would want to implement tariffs, but it does feel like at the end of the day, it's going to be passed along to consumers. And so I was just like, well, this hobby's already expensive. These things may go up. We're not quite sure if we'll see, companies splitting the difference with us. And so it does look like, this is from Underground Figures, right? That they're, saying, hey, we're going to take a little bit of a hit. We're asking that you all, take on some of the burden. So they're splitting the difference a little bit. And I think, it's a really equitable way to do it. But I don't know in the long run if, Sideshow and other companies are going to continue to absorb the increased cost. Maybe there's enough margin where they're going to say, okay, we'll just take a little bit, or if they're going to continue to push this along to us. But it does seem like we're going to see maybe the days of that $290 T800, maybe those are going to be long gone. Maybe the new standard is going to be over $300, and the cost will be baked in on our side to the overall price of the figure, the base price of the figure. So yeah, it's hard to say how this is going to impact everything, but it's just scary for me because, I've got a wife who's given me a hard time about having too much, spending too much. And that just means less figures at the end of the day that we could potentially bring into the collection. So yeah, I'm definitely worried about this for sure.
Absolutely. No, well said. Well said. And I mean, you already have your own kind of tax system within your collector existence, right? You take that similar amount of money that you pay for a figure and put it towards other things in life, the necessities of life, so that you can feel justified in your purchase, but also still have a very supported lifestyle, right?
And now Gigi's talking about tariffs on that too, so it's getting pretty spendy
tariffs all across the board. I hate to see it. You guys are going to need another She Said No podcast soon. I'd be curious
soon, for sure.
Take Press X. Any thoughts here on this messaging here from Underground Figures or tariffs around toys?
This particular, so 2% a surcharge, so a $290 figure now becomes $295. All right, so not the end of the world. Maybe instead of collecting 6 figures, you collect 5 figures, right? That works for some people. I'm not so much worried about that. I'm worried about all of this. What do I mean by this? All this plastic in here, and I've got McFarlane vehicles, I've got Jazz Inc. vehicle, the cases themselves, the actual stands for the figures, all of that is manufactured in China. So it's not just the figures themselves that are going to go up in cost. It's going to be everything associated with the actual hobby, in addition to most everything else in your day-to-day life. So that is where I think it's just going to be a collective stress on a lot of individuals, and a lot of collectors right now are price sensitive, and as well they should be, because let's face it, prices keep going up and up and up. And of course, the danger with any price increase is that, whether it be preemptive or in this case, perhaps justified, is that price, once it goes up, prices don't come down. they're going to stay, that's going to become the new normal. They're going to stay high unless people just start opting out of this hobby, in droves, in which case maybe we'll see figures that come with fewer accessories, or they'll do away with diorama bases, anything they can do to keep the cost manageable. That may be an option, but I'm concerned about the bigger picture, where it's like everything is going to become more expensive, and just figuring out how to manage it, how to roll with the punches, so to speak. We may be in for quite a shock on many fronts.
Yeah, very, very well said. Thank you for your thoughts on that, Press X, because I think quantifying it in the dollar amount helps. Right, when we hear 2%, we're like, what does that mean? Like, if we're not able to just do the math on the fly like that, it just feels like, oh, prices are going up even more. Windman42 kind of said something similar here. 2% will add $6.42 to my cost. I'm not going to cry about that. Just hope it gets sorted out because it's going to hurt others. And I think you mentioned, once they go up, they often don't come back down. I've been talking about price conditioning in this hobby for years now, it feels like, right? There was a time where we saw a $280 price tag and we went, holy crap, that's an expensive figure. Oh my God. Like, what are they charging us for? It better tuck us in bed at night. And now we see 285 or 295, and we're like, oh, hey, that's a pretty good deal. Hey, not too bad. It's under 300. Hell yeah, right? And those prices are started to be conditioned for us. We're all starting to feel that artisan figures, it feels like I can't get an artisan figure for less than, in Canada, less than $600 or $700. In the States, still that $500 pretty average price point, right? For those, all of those prices are already going up. So if this is just another factor of a couple bucks more, a couple bucks more, a couple bucks more, there will get to be that point where either seasoned collectors or newer collectors just say, no, it doesn't even justifiably make sense anymore. And I've talked about it at last week's show, was that resale value on the resale market. It's not like resale is good either anymore, right? If you are spending these kind of dollars to get these collectibles and you decide you either made a bad choice or you want to move it on for something else, oftentimes, at least lately in my experience, you're taking a 10% cut, or even maybe 20% off that figure for what you're putting back in your bank account. So that also stings. You can no longer take the same risk that you used to just to get a cool figure to see and test it out and feel how it feels in the collection, and then maybe move it on for at least the same amount of dollars. Big shout out to Dilo the Collector here. Follow Dilo the Collector on YouTube as well. Awesome dude. Really amazing takes, especially over on the Wolfpack Wednesday show. One of my favorite panelists to listen to. Really, really great takes. But he said, in a weird backwards kind of way, this will actually help the secondary market improve. And I could see that, right? Because it'll honestly mean that, like, you're still potentially getting things at what you paid for retail originally, and be able to kind of move that piece on. So we'll see. Valkyrie, I'm going to go to you last before we move on, because we have a couple more things that I definitely want to chat about before the end of the day. But just more from the perspective, you don't necessarily have to address the tariffs piece, but just from a perspective of a newer collector, how have you justified the price of collecting, both to yourself, maybe in your family, to people who are non-collectors that are, your friends and family around you? Like, how do you tackle the topic of price being a new collector? Newer collector.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. So, which is funny because my regular day-to-day life is I actually work in manufacturing, so I buy stuff from all around the world. So this will, of course, affect our economy. I could see it, but more importantly, it'll affect my ability to buy hot toys. My wife's a corporate controller, so she watches my spending, and she's already looking out and saying, hey, you're going to have to cut back.
That's why we don't talk about prices on this stream very often, because if any significant others are in the room, they have no idea what we're talking about. This is a $300 DeLorean. Love to see it. Love to see it.
It's kind of funny because, like, I never tell my wife how much I spend, but somehow she always knows.
As she should.
Yeah.
Have you started to feel the pressure though? Like, are you already needing to be more selective then as a result because these prices are high? Or since you came in at a still pretty high price point, are you feeling like, no, this is still kind of par for the course, still kind of what I'm expecting?
Right now, I'm kind of feeling it, but since I do break up payments, I feel like that, like let's say for example, most of the fees I think will be like what $30 for like a $300 figure. So if I break it up like over like 3 months payments, then it's just like $10 a payment. So it'll seem kind of invisible to me if I do that, I figure.
Yeah.
So, but if I do it all at once, that's when you'll see it.
Hell yeah. No, fair. Guys, well said. Great thoughts on that. I do want to move on because I want to talk still Red Hulk. I want to talk Rufio. I want to talk a little bit about Pennywise the Clown from Sideshow, and last but certainly not least, I do want to talk a little bit about the Terminator and what we're hoping to see from Terminator. 70 people in the chat. Thanks for being here, guys, and watching. I am curious, and we're going to keep this a little bit briefer on this one. If the panel, if you don't mind, check private chat. Let me know where you guys are at for takes on the next couple of rounds, because we got lots of panelists, and I want to respect everybody's time. Red Hulk has popped up as a tease this past week. And I mean, I immediately made a video on this, and mostly because I will say, I do feel a little bit disappointed that they being Hot Toys hasn't found a way to create larger scale seamless bodies for their Hulk style figures. I do feel disappointed by that. Now, I know there's been a lot of talk in the community lately. I know there's been some other great YouTubers out there who have given great essays on why it's possible or why it's not possible, why this could be a pipe dream. For me, I will say that I don't like letting companies just off the hook easily. I don't like being the consumer that makes the excuse for the company for why they can't do something. If they can't, I would love to hear from them specifically why they can't. I think seamless technology should be something that's available either sooner than later, or already available and they're just not putting the dollars there quite yet. Because as collectors, we talked a little bit about this with movies earlier. If we're willing to accept subpar quality films, they're going to keep giving them to us. If we're going to make excuses for companies to not push the limits of their abilities with regards to 6-scale technology, we're also probably never going to see it. That's one of the reasons that InArt did such an amazing job at forcing Hot Toys into giving us an artisan line. Would we have ever got an artisan line otherwise? Maybe. Maybe it was already planned, but maybe not. Maybe it was that innovation from another company that forced the hand. Now, I can understand that a seamless body may have more cost. I can also understand that a seamless body means higher likelihood, if not significantly higher likelihood of damage to your figure. But one of my biggest challenges for those folks who say, well, if it was a seamless body, you couldn't pose it. My challenge for you is most collectors that I've seen their collections, lovely collector tours that are out there, most people who have a Hulk style figure or a Venom or a Thanos or one of those bigger scales, often they just stand there with the arms at the side anyways. So for me, I would rather lose a little bit of posability, knowing that, yeah, you know what, the arms, I'm just going to keep them at the side without risking damaging this body. But as a result, it doesn't break the immersion of the character for me. It doesn't look like a toy in my display. It still has that 1/6 shrunken down representation of the character that I saw in the film in my display. But I'd be happy to be challenged on this either way, because again, some people feel it is impossible and it's a pipe dream. Some people feel like me, it's disappointing. How come we're not expecting more? Why does it have to be not something that we're looking forward to? And maybe it doesn't necessarily relate to Red Hulk. Maybe it's just because we're all expecting a Green Hulk around the corner, a 2.0 again, or a 3.0 at this point. But maybe this disappoints you all. So I'll be curious. I'm going to go round table, or let me know in the panel if you guys have anybody that wants to skip on this one. Let me see really quick. Marco, I'll go with you first, good sir. What are your thoughts on the possibility of seamless in our future? Go on it.
Yeah, so I know we chatted a bit about this on Collecting Weekly, and we talked about Bane as a perfect example, right? So that's one that the last version wasn't seamless with, kind of a newly created body. It just takes that character and the figure to the next level. So if you try to scale that and add the, try to create a custom body for this Hulk in terms of silicone, it might not be realistic, right, in terms of cost, and you probably want it no higher than $450 to make it, manageable for folks. But we've seen the example of the Age of Ultron with the swap out torso, right? So you've got a seamless option and a seamed option. And I feel like that's really the path forward. If everyone wants a seamless version or seamless option, it's got to have this swap out, right? So I think that's kind of a way to split the difference on the bigger characters. But I do agree they should be innovating with bodies on smaller characters. And I will just say, I used to hate the seams on this when we saw the first Venom from the first Venom film announced. I was like, it looks like a big toy. But then having a Hulk, I have the first Avengers Hulk, and then having that Venom in hand, there is a way to, display it, light it, pose it up to where those seams don't become a huge issue. So I feel like I've come around a bit on the larger characters, but I think there's a lot of examples where seams are just not okay. So hopefully the Hot Toys is hearing the feedback, hearing what collectors want, and finding a way to give them both the posability, but then also some either seamless bodies or a seamless swap out option.
Yeah, the swap out torso option was something that I'd also brought up in that first take video, because like we have seen that. I think it was the Avengers Age of Ultron Hulk, if I'm not mistaken, that had the swap out, and that was pretty cool because at least then that does appease my I want to get rid of the seams. I want it to look like a Hulk. I had people comment though to be like, well, if you really want seamless, you should get a statue. And it's like, okay, but like there's I think a limit to that as well. I don't necessarily want a statue. I want something that has some soft touch material to it. Like I love holding the Bane in my hands, you know what I mean? Like again, he's a smaller figure, but like he's heavy, he's squishy, he feels like a real person in the display. It's cool, right? I like that feeling. I also don't often like the size of bases that come with statues. So for me, like a Hulk on a statue base would just take up too much real estate in the collection. Then it's more than what I feel like I want. But Valkyrie, I'll go to you last on this one before we move on here. A few people in the chat saying, seems would drive me crazy. Yeah, for me, it breaks the immersion. I got into 1/6 scale Valkyrie because I was looking for shrunken down representations of the character or the actor that I love the most to somehow be represented in my display. Like little people. Seems take me out of that, certainly to an extent. What are your thoughts on Red Hulk here? Oh, Valkyrie, do we have you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. All right. I thought. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So my thoughts on this is that I think like a seamless figure is great, but maybe not fully realistic either. But maybe like it looks like that the arms are like seamless, but the shoulder you can see that little thing, the crease there. Mm-hmm. And I think that's fine if you do a little bit of like just something so that you can like move it around without breakage or anything like that, or worrying too much about like leaving it in a certain position. So somewhere like I make like a happy medium between the creases and all what do you call it? Or just without being completely seamless. Just a few things like in the shoulder, you could see it looks like there is a seam there, and I think that's fine. If you do it like all without any seams at all, then you pretty much can't do anything with it. You just pose it and that's it.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, and as I said, most of the time these hulking figures just stand in your collection anyways, because we all have pretty diverse collections. We have to fit them in. Like you're not seeing many like Hulk smash poses. I still think it would be cool to get there with that technology eventually, but I still think the danger of a rip or a breakage outweighs the immersion break a little bit in my mind. But, quick shout out, Valkyrie here. We have 1/6 scale man in the chat with us. Good sir, he says, if we think small, we get small. If we do not challenge these companies to evolve, they will believe that we are accepting of lesser quality. The quarter scale seamless bodies that articulate well. I know those quarter scales are also pretty darn expensive. But you're absolutely right. I think that kind of seconds to what I was saying there earlier, Lael, that very thing. If we make the excuse for the company for why they can't, why will they ever, right? A lot of you folks on this panel are parents, or we have cat babies, or we have dog babies. If we say our dogs will never understand they can never be trained. If we say our daughters will never understand, we better just learn that lesson for them. How will they ever change? How will they ever grow? How will they ever evolve? What pushes that change? And with these costs increasing no matter what, like we talk about with price conditioning, if the price is going up anyways, then I also want to see innovation with those increases. Well said, boys. Well said. And Leal, love you, buddy. I had a dream about you last night. I actually mentioned you at the beginning of the show. You and Latoya were in my dream. You were both on the Let's Get Nuts panel, and I really dropped the ball on how good that panel show was. And so thankfully you guys were kind enough to not judge me too aggressively, but I felt so embarrassed that I had Leal and Latoya with me, and I pulled off a horrendous show. So,
and then he kicked you off the balcony, Leal.
I didn't kick anybody off a balcony. That's fake news. Go back and watch it if you're concerned. Don't listen to Dave. Guys, we also got a tease from a company I honestly personally have never heard of before, Siberian Custom Studios, of a Rufio from the film Hook, of all things. And man, like, I gotta say, I actually kind of think it looks pretty good. It looks like the actor from back in the day. The natural feathers in the hair, real leather clothing, seamless modified body, metal sword, boots made of fabric, coming in at 30 centimeters. So yeah, 12 inch or 6 scale size. Modified silicone body, painted head, face, like basically all of it. I mean, it looks pretty amazing. I think my only question is, like, have they done a pan yet? Like, is there, like, why start with Rufio of all characters? He is cool. And from when I was a kid, one of my favorite characters from the movie. I don't know if I have the nostalgia, though, that punch in the chest of nostalgia to actually buy this or even try and find it. Dave, what do you think about a Rufio?
What? What the hell? What? Who? Why? What? First off, I'm excited for this. But also, why? I don't. What? Who brainstormed this? Who sat in this meeting and said, you know what we need to do? We need to make Rufio.
We need to make Rufio.
And I want to know how many people in that boardroom said, who?
Yeah.
But, dude, this is fucking cool, man. I'm that guy that probably once a month I think about Hook. I don't know why, but it's a great friggin' movie. Love the hell out of it. This is certainly a place to start, I guess. Yeah, you would think they would just do Peter Pan, you know?
So apparently Siberian Customs did do. Apparently we got a Peter Pan last year. So thank you for that update. I couldn't find it. So okay, that's good to know. I'm gonna
okay,
see if I can find it
well, then this is all right then. Yeah, dude. All right, this is cool because he's got his sword, you know. So yeah, that's friggin' great.
Oh, you know what? I actually might remember this now that I'm seeing this. Give me 1 second.
Really? Because I don't remember it.
I am thinking I remember this now.
This is pretty
sorry,
cool.
You were saying, sorry to cut you off, buddy. Sorry to cut you off. Yeah.
That's
crazy.
I'm wondering, like, what are they going to do? Are they going to do like a diorama for him? Or are they going to give him like part of the table? Or is he going to have like a little trapeze set up? What the hell? This is Peter Pan from the same guys?
Siberian Customs, it says, yeah.
Oh, how did this go under the radar?
I don't remember. It looks familiar, but I don't necessarily remember it coming up on collecting shows. That's interesting.
I never heard anything about that.
I'll say the Rufio looks better than this pan, though. It definitely looks better. Like they've improved.
Who are these guys? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Jedi Chris says I'm paying off pan right now. Hey, it's a pretty old school piece. Looks like pan was limited to only 15 pieces.
What?
Crazy.
So he was probably like $2,000.
Yeah, they're quite a small company. So I mean, I've got an indie outfit from them. So this Rufio is probably going to be at least $1,000.
Okay, no, never mind. I'm not excited about this anymore.
I'm not excited about this anymore.
I think the last figure they put out was Lurtz from Fellowship of the Ring. which is really nice.
yeah.
But it was more or less a statue, and that again was a lot of money. But they use real leather and metal and stuff like that. But yeah, they're very limited runs and very expensive. So
this is
probably
on
why it
license,
passed to
right?
buy.
For sure. I mean,
yeah.
customs is in the name,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
It's unlicensed. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Shout out to Feezy's Figures. Says per their Instagram post, Rufio limited to 30 pieces. Really no low numbers, more like custom seems like. Yeah,
I think there's some
100%.
sort of rule because Jazz Inc. used to talk about it. If you make a small enough run, you can kind of get away with not having to call it the red featherhead guy or something like that, like the So Toys and Mars Toys. They
didn't know that.
You can make it as like a small run custom thing, and you're kind of exempt from. I don't think anybody will bother to come after you, But yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, they've been around a while.
Interesting.
They're good stuff, but yeah, it's the upper end of.
I still personally think I would have rather see a Hook teased over a Rufio even still, but just to have Pan and Hook, right? It seems like an odd choice, but it is pretty cool looking overall. So go ahead.
I was going to say for me, being a person of Filipino descent, just to see a 1/6 scale figure in a Filipino person kind of makes me excited, even though it's probably going to be too expensive for me to afford. Just the fact that it even exists kind of makes me happy.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, having a little diversity in the collection, having some representation, very, very important. Unfortunately, only 30 people in the world will be able to have representation on this particular one. But to those folks, we are a little jealous. We're jealous. Let's be honest. I'm even if I didn't want this, even if I didn't ask for this, if somebody was like, "You want one of 30 Rufios in your collection?" I'd be like, "Hell yeah, I do."
But weirdly, 50 of those people won't have a pan to go with him.
Yeah. Huh? Oh, damn, dude.
True, poor bastards. Yeah, that's an aggressive secondary market right there. You'll have to see it.
Man.
We are approaching our 2-hour mark. I figure we've got about 30 minutes left of the show, guys. I still, again, want to talk about Pennywise. I want to quickly touch on maybe Jazz Inc. Penguin if we have a few minutes, and then T100. Sorry, 28T100, the T800 of all characters. So Pete and Aaron, feel free, just poke me in the private if you do. Poke me in the private chat. Oh my god.
Yep.
Wow.
What is happening?
We're out here. Open privates, man.
Oh, it took a turn.
Don't touch any people's privates.
What kind of show is this?
Poke me in the private.
That's
chat.
gonna live rent free right up here.
Guys,
The channel.
Yeah. Poke me in the private.
Gosh. It's like I'm back in Singapore right now.
Yeah. Okay. Oof, okay. Well, anyways, let me know in the private chat if you and when you guys need to go, and I will show you out. We got Pennywise from Sideshow. Shout out to oh my gosh, why am I blanking on this person's name now? I apologize. Thank you, Dean Knight. Yeah. Not to be confused with Dean the Dream Martin. They are different people. Dean Knight put up some amazing photos of this figure this week, as well as an amazing review. So go over and check out Dean Knight's review if you've missed it. I know clowns can be triggering for a lot of people. The next photo is the aggressive face, so if clowns are triggering for you, just so you're aware. I haven't asked Dean Knight for his permission to use these photos, so hopefully he'll be okay with that. But I do want to shout him out because amazing work on the review and amazing photography. And wow, what an amazing release from Sideshow. I know Sideshow often gets kind of ragged on. People say there's not enough improvements with Sideshow. Their bodies suck. There's a lot of hate when it comes to Sideshow figures. But I really love the Beetlejuice that I just got recently. I love the art box style that comes with them. The old VHS style boxes. So freaking cool. I thought the likeness was good. The body's nice and stiff. He stands without a figure base in my collection, no problem. And I had a chip on the nose of my Beetlejuice. Let Sideshow know. They literally had another one to me in less than 6 business days. It was a very, very quick turnaround from them. So great customer service support there as well. Now, I will say, I do like the Bill Skarsgård Pennywise the Clown more than this original version. But the original's the GOAT. And I mean, who doesn't love the actor under the makeup here? An amazing guy, amazing talent. What great representation of that history of film, even in the display. So, question is for you guys. What are your thoughts on the Sideshow Pennywise the Clown? Press X. We didn't hear from you on the last one. Let's go to you on this one, buddy. What are your thoughts?
Oh my god. The only thing this clown is triggering me to do is to pre-order it. Nah, that's So I would say that I mean I grew up with this version of Pennywise, like Tim Curry's version of Pennywise the Clown. I remember going to this place called a video store, and we'd rent these things called VHS tapes. And for the longest time, I would go and get these movies, and I would watch it. I didn't know there was a part 2 for a long time because the video store I went to just had part 1. So for years, I didn't know there was actually another, a whole nother TV movie for part 2. And part 1 is the better of the two. But no, this they killed it with this particular figure. I was really hoping, much like the Beetlejuice, that this turned out, really, really well. And I'm pleased to see that they managed to capture Tim Curry in this because you're right, his version of Pennywise, it is iconic. And I can't wait to bring this one home.
And arguably more scary, in my opinion. His take was more scary. I actually think I saw Field of Burns just said that Skarsgård wasn't as scary. I agree with it. I liked Skarsgård's version because every time he talked, he kind of made me smile as well. He was like, he had like a creep factor, but he was also kind of funny in his delivery of his lines. But that was actually something that I liked about that Pennywise the Clown, because I think the scariest part of clowns is they are horrifying to look at half the time, but they're meant to be funny and whimsical and crazy and everything. Like they're enjoyable in the same way that they're scary for people. And so I thought he did a good representation of that. This version just really creeped me the hell out, the whole movie. Like the whole film was just weird and creepy. Dave, X-Men, what do you think of the Sideshow Pennywise?
Sideshow's been giving us reasons lately to stop shitting on them, I think. As far as their 6-scale figures go. Cause and I was in that same camp, I'd seen all the reviews on Sideshow figures and a lot of the poorly put together bodies and bad representations like that Ahsoka that they did. Oh dear God, that Ahsoka. Holy nugget sauce. I bought that Wolverine that they put out, and I was very iffy on it, but he looked so good, and I wanted a Wolverine. I didn't have one at the time, so I got him, and he's a great figure. I got lucky. Mine doesn't fall apart. I was in that 50% that got the good one, but like this right here looks amazing. Dean did a good review of this figure, and I ordered this as soon as it went up because this is my Pennywise right here. I watched this when it came out on TV the first time, like when it originally aired. I was watching this, and I probably shouldn't have been because I was young as hell. But this was a great friggin' story. I understand that because I haven't read the book, and from what I've seen and read elsewhere, that this first one really didn't follow the book as much as the more recent version, which was unfortunate because they probably could have made it better, but it was still pretty damn good. And Tim Curry is frightening just as a human being, and it's wonderful. This was just the best, and he was because yeah, Skarsgård was cool, but like he just wasn't. It's the subtlety, I think, that Tim Curry brings to it. Like you just look at that dude and you just know, no, I don't want to meet that dude in a dark alley just as a regular human being. But this clown terrified the hell out of me as a kid, and I just loved him. I don't know why. I don't understand why. But he's perfect. He's great. I gotta have this one. This is gonna be the only horror figure that I have. But look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That is ridiculous.
I don't even know what sculpt I would want to put on, because this is terrifying and crazy, but like then the other sculpt has a really good representation of Tim in there. You can see him in the sculpt, in my opinion, just a little bit more. So like both are really great.
Oh yeah, the other one's
really great
almost
sculpts.
scarier, honestly.
Yeah,
Because he's not doing
right?
anything. He's just there, right? Like
Yeah, like you said, it's that subtlety. It's like,
Yeah.
oh man, like, hey, there's a clown over there. Yeah, I wouldn't want to talk to that clown. Nope.
Yeah, hell no.
No, I'm good. Yeah, very good. Yeah, no, totally agree. Quick shout out to 6-Scale Mafia in the chat, celebrating 14 months of channel membership with us. Dude, thank you so much for being a supporter for such a long time. I really appreciate it. Live long and prosper to you, good sir, as well. He says, great release. Waitlisted quick this weekend. Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure Dean Knight's video helped with some of that hype, let's be honest, because it was pretty wild. Pete, I'll go to you last, unless anybody else has a take on the panel on Pennywise here. But Pete, what were your thoughts on Sideshow's release here?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. It's another one of those rare Sideshow releases that actually can kind of hold its own with Hot Toys and some of the better companies. And surprisingly, a human portrait as well, even though he's obviously heavily made up. I think the guys on the panel have hit the nail on the head. I think this for me is my Pennywise. I've got the Hot Toys Skarsgård one. It's a great figure, and I think it's a very different take, and it's to do with when they were made, because obviously the recent It movies, you've got all the technology, you've got the CGI and everything, so it was much closer to the book, and it was very much that he was a shapeshifter, and you had some very scary scenes where he turned into the big spider and stuff like that, and it's very much played that he is kind of like an alien presence, and he's got this thing. Whereas I think because this was made, I think in 1990, and it was a made-for-TV movie, so the budget was a lot smaller. So Tim Curry had to carry that character so much more. He didn't have all those special effects and stuff to rely on, so it was all about his performance, and it was very subtle. And some of the creepiest bits was, the kids would be, I don't know, walking along the riverbank, and one of them would just look over their shoulder, and he'd just be standing there like waving like that, holding a balloon, and yeah, super creepy. And I think, certainly more iconic in my mind. I would love to have it, but by the time, as it's a Sideshow, I'd have to order it from Sideshow. I'd be looking at nearly £400 probably with taxes and shipping and stuff like that. So maybe I'll pick one up on the secondary market in a few years or something. But I think it's an absolute fantastic figure.
Yeah, it's one that if I encountered it in a local shop and it was a good price, I do think I would put it in the cart as well. I don't know if it would be one that I would chase down though. I think it would have to. It would almost have to find me in a horrifying.
He'll find
way. Yeah,
just looking at a drain.
And I wanted to mention this as well because in Dean Knight's video, he put this Pennywise head in the sewer that comes with the other Pennywise from Bill Skarsgård. Dude,
that Hot Toys base is
such a cool way to display both, especially with that extra head sculpt. If you got it, well, you've got one on display, you got this in the sewer. Like, man, bravo, good sir, cool. Good sir. If you, I hope he watches it. He added me on Facebook recently, so I'm like, maybe he watches the show. Bravo to you, sir, if you watch the show, because hell yeah. Last but not least, Aaron, I'll go to you, and then I have put a poll in the chat, guys, because we are running out of time on today. Do you think we should skip the Jazz Inc. Penguin conversation, maybe save it for next week, and skip over to Terminator, or are you really wanting to hear some panelists' take on the Jazz Inc. Penguin head? Please vote in that poll that's up right now. Would be appreciated. Aaron, last but not least, good sir, what are your thoughts here on the Sideshow Pennywise?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it was only but Pete did mention just at the end of when he finished up there, it was just price for me that's held me off potentially getting this for me. Like it would be about 400, Pete, wouldn't it, for us over here? I can't, as much as I think one of the most iconic characters out there, I think in terms of performances, in terms of you think of Heath Ledger as Joker, you think of some of those top performances we've had. This is, I think, in the same category. I mean, just so good. Even the remake, excellent. I think what's actually quite funny is when we got our two cats, they're called Pepper and George, obviously after Pepper and George Pig from Peppa Pig, because our daughter could actually say that. But the nickname obviously started coming as Georgie. And then one morning, I just got up, went into the kitchen, and was like, "Hello, Georgie," and then that's been like a thing, like every morning. Hello, Will down here. Look, my wife's just like, "Shut up." But that's like an ongoing thing in the house now. That I wish we'd never called him George, but
that's awesome. By the way, Aaron, now that you've been on YouTube a little bit in the last couple of weeks, has your wife been appreciative of the fact that you have now outlets to get some of your craziness out outside of the house? Or
no, I think she feels like. In fact, she did say it's nice that you've got a little bit of a hobby going on. That you're not just sat playing computer games. You're actually doing something a little bit different. I was like, yeah, no, that is true. That is true. And maybe I'm just saving my rants and stuff to the laptop now rather than going through with it.
She interacted a bit on our
She
show,
was, no, she did. Yeah, she came. We asked her opinion on the spreading the butter. Yeah.
Tell her. Wow, I see how it is. That's fine. You don't have to interact on Let's Get Nuts if you don't want to. But last time Aaron's on the show, guys, you hate to see it. Love that. Perfect. No, well said, boys. Well said. You know what? It's a pretty split vote. We got 21 votes. 57% are saying yes, we should skip Jazzing Penguin. No, 43%. So, tell you what. Let's make it very quick. One person in our panel, please put in the private chat if you want to speak to the Penguin. I will give my very brief take on it, so it's at least covered very quickly, and then we'll get on to Terminator as our final subject of the day. Pete put his name in first, so Pete wins the battle. Penguin has been teased here now a little bit more significantly, I would say, from Jazz Inc. Now we're getting a chance to see what the jacket with some of the fur on the cuffs and the pockets look like around the neck, as well as the likeness to Danny DeVito. Now I've seen some people actually pretty critical, Pete, saying that this doesn't look much better than some of those third-party representations that have come out. And then I've seen some people say, wow, it's amazing. It looks exactly like Danny DeVito. To me, I'm on the camp of it does look to me like Danny DeVito in the Penguin makeup. I absolutely see it there. But I will also agree with the other side of the fence that I don't think it's as good as how I felt about the Michelle Pfeiffer, especially the battle damaged representation of Michelle Pfeiffer, how her half face was coming through the mask. I thought that was beautiful. And I mean, it's hard to say Danny DeVito's Penguin is beautiful because he's just not beautiful in this makeup, let's be honest. But I don't get that same impactful feeling. So I'm curious where you think maybe the price will shake out for this one. What do you think the hype will be for this once it actually gets put up for pre-order from Jazz Inc?
Yeah, I want to talk about this one because I'm much more down for getting this one than the Catwoman, and not that there's anything wrong with the Catwoman. It's fantastic. I think the problem for me is you're right. The battle damaged head sculpt was phenomenal, but you had to go with the deluxe version to get that. That was kind of behind the paywall, and that would be getting up to probably £500, something like that. Even though we're in Europe, we're not because a load of people voted to come out of it. So. We still get the VAT and all that sort of stuff. So I did skip on that because I've got the Batman Returns 2.0 coming. But I've always wanted a Penguin. And, there's been some customs that I've nearly pulled the trigger on. And that Gentleman of Crime, I think it was called, looked pretty good. I think it looks great. I personally would go for the sewer version. I don't want the mayor version. I want
with the green blood?
Sewer one. Yeah, and on this one, I'm more than happy with the neutral sculpts. I think they look better, so I'm quite happy to go with the basic one for the sewer one. If it doesn't come with the 15 umbrellas, that's no big shakes for me. I think we'll see a similar price, although we haven't seen anything about a diorama yet, and obviously the big price one for Catwoman had the diorama with the neon lights and stuff. So it'd be interesting to see if there is a diorama coming. But I think if I could pick this up for £250, £300 all in, I'd probably be up for getting him.
Oh yeah, well said, Pete. Yeah. Short and sweet. X and X-Men also put in the chat here, guys, that they wanted to give a very quick take. Totally fine with me. What are your thoughts, Press X, on the Penguin?
Oh, I'm definitely picking up the Penguin. I have the Gentleman of Crime. However, I have the 2-pack Catwoman on pre-order from Jazz Inc. And so I will probably most likely get the Mayor version of this. And if it comes with 2 head sculpts, I'll use one of the head sculpts on my Gentleman of Crime. That way I'll have both the sewer look and the Mayor look. So yeah, I'm excited to see what options we get, because it's nice to have options at different price points. And I believe he was supposed to be putting up pre-order information, I think next month is what he said, for this particular piece. So I'm definitely interested in seeing more photos. But yeah, I can't wait. I'm sure we'll get it in 2026-ish, if I had to guess, at the earliest. So we have a hot minute before it shows up on our doorstep, but it's looking good.
Well, and I've said, in the past, Jazz Inc., in my opinion, can't afford to fail on this, because they've been known for the longest time as a vehicle, like a 1/6 scale vehicle company, right? And trying to get back into licensed figures is a different foray. They're like 1/6 collectors, as we all know, are very critical. I mean, this whole show today, for the most part, is us being relatively critical of different releases, even with a positive mindset. And so, they have to nail that Catwoman. She has to come out amazing. And if she does, I think it will 1000% drive the hype for this one. Dave, what are your thoughts here in terms of this being compared to even like third-party releases and some of those?
I think so far this is a pretty darn amazing offering. From what little we've seen of it, I want it. Will I get it? Well, that depends on several things. When we see how Catwoman plays out, and not just how she is put together, but like in terms of what she's going to end up costing everybody, because we've only got 2 places we can get her, and it ain't looking good for the tariffs. So if that's a big deal still when she gets shipped, that's probably going to decide for me whether or not I'm getting this guy, because I'm all in on the Catwoman. I'm getting her. I want this dude, but it depends on how big a hit I take on Catwoman, honestly. Because I don't expect Kit to be, absorbing anything like how Sideshow and Ray are talking about. And what's the other joint that we can order from for these figures? The space guy place.
Mars Choice?
No. The retailer.
Spec Fiction, right?
Spec Fiction, right? Yeah, I mean, I haven't even ordered anything through those guys, so I don't even know like what that's going to be like. But yeah, man. I mean, I think it's great. I think a lot of people are either going to, if people want it, they're going to order it already, or they're going to wait, like I'm thinking about doing, to see how all this shipping pans out, because that's going to be a bitter pill to swallow with something that's this pricey.
I mean, that's not the right saying, but I totally understand what you mean. So for sure.
Oh well, I'm not swallowing nuts over here. We can't all be over here licking whores and poking privates, dude. I mean,
it's been a show. It has been a show. My dream has come to fruition. Well said, guys. Thanks for keeping it quick, and thanks for sticking around for the folks who did vote yes to skip. I apologize. I did want to gauge everybody's interest, but when we have folks that want to talk about it, I can't say no to these people either. They're all lovely gentlemen taking time out of their day. But last, but certainly not least, we have to talk about the T800, not to be confused with the T100, like I said earlier. The T800 2.0 clean version is here and up for pre-order. And it has an extremely quick turnaround time. Like, it's coming out in the next couple months, I think. It's something, I want to say it was like August or something like that. But at a $290 price point, we talked about price conditioning earlier. This was one that I feel like they're conditioning me back in the right direction a little bit. Like, hey, you all thought this was going to be more expensive, especially because how expensive that battle damaged version was. Here's a reasonable price. Why not have both? So I've put a poll in the chat, because I'm curious. I did a this or that video on clean versus battle damage. Do you get this, that, both, maybe neither? Maybe you are like Mysterio here down at the bottom, who has quite the Terminator collection. How do you decide whether or not this is worthy of the update? What are your thoughts on the likeness, What are your thoughts on the glasses? Lots of questions are posed in my mind. For me, I know most of you have heard my take at this point if you watched the video, but I am going to pick this one up. I have the original MMS 117 sitting in behind me, and while I like that figure a lot, I'm not going to show the photo because the boys at Collecting Weekly made fun of me for my neck posing of that the other day. I thought it was a cool photo. They're all bastards, but at the end of the day, that figure does need a little bit of an upgrade. He's just covered in pleather. The likeness is good, but could definitely be improved. Where I actually think that one still is better, as I think the shape of the glasses on the MMS 117 was still better than this particular version. That's one piece that's just driving me a little bit nuts. But on the other hand, I think the price is good, and I think having them both in the display would be cool. I also worry that my MMS 117 wouldn't look as good next to the new upgraded 2025 version of a Battle Damage. I think it would sink into itself. So I'm personally trying to justify both to myself here. But let's do a roundtable on the panel on this one. So, Pete, what were your thoughts on the announcement of the clean version of the T800? Did you have your sights set on the Battle Damage as well? This, that, both? Where were you at?
No, I'm not picking up either. I don't dislike T2, and I know people absolutely love it, and it's their favourite film ever. So I'm not gonna. It's a good film. I like it. I'm not sold on this outfit. I don't like the outfit as much as I prefer the T1 outfit. So if they did a reissue of the Police Shootout or the Tech Noir or something from T1, I'd be more interested in that. Because I've had the old Hot Toys ones before, and I've ultimately sold them on. But objectively, fantastic figure, looks great. Genuine leather on the outfit, they say it should be. I think the head sculpt's great. The glasses suck. They're nothing like the ones that he wears in the film. They look more like an old granny's sunglasses. So I think either they fix that, or it's very easily fixed. You can pick up 1/6 scale sunglasses on eBay for peanuts. So I'm sure that there's a pair of glasses out there that look better. Shouldn't have to, but we all know that sometimes we have to, upgrade something or change something out. So that wouldn't concern me. I'm just not in for these, but I do think it looks fantastic. And I mean, the look with the minigun is cool, very cool.
Hell yeah, it is. I'm curious if it's the same minigun that comes with the Punisher 1.0 from the Daredevil series. It looks very, very similar to the one that guy's holding in my.
Because one of the previous ones did come with that.
Yeah.
Was it the DX13 or
that might have been? Was it the 13? I don't remember now. Let us know.
No, it might be the clean one. I definitely owned one once that had the minigun. But
yeah, it must have been one of the DXs because the MMS did not.
Yeah,
but,
it was a DX.
Yeah, and I like that this figure,
the clean one,
DX10. I like that this figure has multiple scene looks, right? Like he's got at least 4 very vital scenes from the film that are now posable with regards to your display. I forgot to add the Terminator juicy arm as well, but there does look like there's a bit of a weird seam in the elbow there, so I'll be curious to see how that shakes out. And then Pete, I know you did kind of already say it, but this was teased by Hot Toys not that long ago.
Oh, okay.
And we now have 3. We have 3 of these that are 2.0'd on the way. So I'll be curious to see what else might actually come from this line. Are we going to see the endoskeletons? Are we going to see the version 1, the Techno Noir? Are we even going to see a Sarah Connor again, or maybe even a John Connor that's not on the list here? I'll be curious to see. Yeah, for sure. But you would go Tech Noir or one of the
probably the Police Shootout one on the right there. If it's a leather jacket, that'd be my preference, I think.
Absolutely. Aaron, go in on it. What are your thoughts on Terminator, the 2.0 here? And this or that or both for you, bud?
Well, first of all, Pete, glad you mentioned the glasses because I was getting Stevie Wonder vibes from that. Like, does he come with like a cane? Like, just a blind bloke. No, I actually last year pre-ordered that Present Toys Future Warrior, which I'm still waiting on that to sort of, well, I haven't had any news on that.
The clean one, because the mass damage came out, didn't it? Yeah.
So I've wanted a Terminator. just to have it represented. So that's why I went with that, because it's a bit of a cheaper option. I wasn't too fussed, and to be honest, I'm not too fussed on whether it's from number 1 or 2. That doesn't really. I just wanted one. But seeing these, part of me did think, oh, maybe I should have just potentially have waited. But I think for me, I think I can say sort of I'm happy that I maybe just saved a bit of money just to have the representation. So probably not for me, but if people wanted this, I can see why, because it does. I think it looks great, to be honest. And what the one Ben just showed with all the different Hot Toys ones there, I think they all look pretty. There's arguments for all of that, definitely. But I think, me personally, I'm happy with what I did, I think.
Would you get any of these other ones then? Sorry, Aaron? Maybe you said I might have brain fogged on that one.
Apologies. Maybe I just wanted a Terminator represented, so I think I will achieve that. So I would say no, I wouldn't, but you never know, do you? If something was going right on eBay or something, or someone was moving one on, you never know. I could be tempted to add to it, but I just wanted a Terminator. Really.
Just to jump in on your Present Toys comment, I have got the police shootout from the first one from Present Toys, which is something like the Future Warrior again, or something ridiculous it's called, because they're doing the tech noir and they're doing the police shootout with a leather jacket. So I've got that on pre-order, and I have actually picked up the clean Hot Toys head. So if the head sculpts suck on the Present Toys, I've got an option to.
I did think that, Pete, myself. I thought I could just get a better head sculpt if I'm not happy with it. Exactly. That is an option.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Yeah, I think I did the right thing. I think for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Pop Culture Living Room in the chat with us. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for being here, of course. Look at this massive and beautiful panel. Hell yeah, dude. We got to get you on here at some point, man. I'd love to have you on as a guest. So let's make that happen for sure. You and Brother Cousins. I keep saying, like, Brother Cousins and I keep kind of missing each other in our own separate live streams, but we've been meaning to connect at some point. So we'll see. But yeah, Costa, would love to get you on here, buddy, at some point. Press X to continue. Tell us how you feel, good sir. This, that, both, neither. Where are you landing here?
Ooh, I mean, I've already pre-ordered the clean version, so I've already pre-ordered this version, because for me, I mean, this fully represents, Terminator 2. This is definitely an iconic look. If I'm thinking of a battle damaged Terminator, I would want one from the first Terminator film, because the first Terminator film, I mean, it is, as I've said before, it's an out and out horror movie, absolutely. And if anything, I would want a damaged T-800 from that film, just because I like that look as a battle damaged version. His hero version in this, being battle damaged, it's also a really, really good look for the people that pre-ordered that, and then they release this, and now you have to decide, do you want either or both? I mean, it's a win-win, but I think this particular version, if I'm looking at like the hero version of the character, this is the one for me. So I'm excited. The glasses are a little off, so I would have to, replace the glasses, but otherwise, I think the tailoring looks great, and it comes with a good amount of accessories as well. So picking up, hopefully they give us a nice endoskeleton. That is also something I need in the collection, but yeah, I'm picking up the clean version, definitely.
Do you think the endoskeleton needs to be full die-cast, or do you think that that's a bit of a pipe dream and that it would only have parts that are die-cast, similar to what we see with like an IG-11, for example?
I think parts of it would be die-cast. I think they would do it in the same way that they did General Grievous, where not all of it,
that's a good
technically
shout-out,
because the just enough to the pieces that would normally receive like perhaps the most stress or need to really support the character. Otherwise, it would be a bit too light and a bit too fragile. So I think certain pieces of it would be die cast, or ideally, certain pieces of it would be die cast to give it that stability and longevity.
Oh yeah, and the chrome paint technology has come a long way from these original versions to now, right? Like they've really figured out how to make things look truly chrome. So Mysterio, haven't heard from you in a little bit, buddy. What are your thoughts here on the T800 2.0 versus the battle damage version? Do you have a preference on either? You're surrounded by some pretty cool figures back there. Are you going to try and skip on these? Where's your head at on this one?
Oh man, so Terminator 2 is my favorite movie of all time. Been watching that guy since the cradle, since I was a little kid, 1991. So it's I've been watching it every single year. So it's there. It's in my head. It's in my collection. So this figure, when it first came out, the fanboy in me was really like super giddy, super excited. I was like, oh yes, pre-order right away. I tried to overlook the imperfections, but now that it's been a couple of days, I had some time to kind of marinate and reassess and really critique the figure because it is my favorite movie of all time.
Sure.
I'm a little disappointed, to be honest with you. Like, just to backtrack from Hot Toys, right? Like, you have Ben has the MMS 117. There's the Dutch version of Arnold, DX10, DX13. We have a Commando. Like, when I look at this one, the promo shots for this, I don't see Arnold. I just don't. Like, I see parts of him, depending on the angle of the picture. I see parts of him for sure, but his face looks just smushed to me, and then his jaw's not long enough. He was quite slimmer in T2 compared to T1, and it's just, how many times does Hot Toys have to screw up on my Arnold Schwarzenegger figure, right? Like, look at Captain America. How many Chris Evans Captain Americas have we had? Quite a few. And look at the Torch. And we say that looks like Chris Evans. Same with Black Widow. Like, the only Black Widow that I think looks kind of like ScarJo would be the Artesian version or the Endgame. The rest of them didn't really capture that likeness. So with Arnold, it's quite disappointing to actually see the face sculpt now that the hype and the excited kid in me has died down significantly. The promo shots could change. That's another argument what people would always say to me. It's like, oh, these are the promo shots. It's going to be better. But at the same time, I've been burned, and I'm sure other collectors have been burned about prototypes too. Like, look at Commando. When the Arnold Schwarzenegger head sculpt for Commando came out, that looked amazing, right? But when the actual production pictures came out, it looked like a weird teenage baby version of Arnold. It just, I don't know, it looks super odd to me, right? So I don't know. It's sure. I can't be too excited. Am I gonna get it? Yeah, absolutely. But, like, for fuck's sakes, get the sunglasses right. Get the goddamn sunglasses right. That's like the most iconic part outside of his leather, or I guess the whole outfit, the leather jacket. Get the damn lapels right. Get the goddamn sunglasses right, and call it a day. Even if the sculpt is off a little bit, fine. But the fucking sunglasses, get that shit done right. Come on. Like, oh.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast. It jumped up a notch. It did, didn't it?
Jump right there. Wow, passionate person.
Stereo, you can come on my show, mate. Get on my show and have a rave about that.
Like, I didn't rant too much about the battle damage version of the 2.8 battle damage because it's not bad. It's fine. But for this one, you have to get that sculpt right, and you have to get the goddamn outfit right for it to be like the T2 hero version of Arnold, right? For the endo arm. The first time we got that endo arm, I think it was seamless. Like, it was just a 90-degree arm with the skin ripped off. And then this 2.0 version, we got a seam on it. What the seriously? Why are we regressing? Why are we backpedaling on what we've been doing better, or what Hot Toys has been doing better? It makes no goddamn sense. And here's the other thing: where's the knife where he actually cut the damn skin off? It's not even there. You're gonna give us the CPU in the head with a part of the hair coming off, but you can't give us a fucking knife. Seriously? Like, oh my gosh, I could keep going. But anyways, on a positive note, right? Yes, I think it is an upgrade. I mean, the full leather suit, sure. The gray and the black t-shirt, okay, fine. What if we got a Fat Boy with it? I think that would be like the icing on the cake if we actually got a vehicle. Yeah. Since we were talking vehicles, right? Give us a Fat Boy. I think that would have been freaking amazing.
I'd buy that.
Absolutely, right? And can you go back to the promo shots, or sorry, the releases that Hot Toys was had lined up, right? See, like that right there. Where is teenage John Connor? Where is Kyle Reese? right? It's
Miles
is
Tellerman.
Yeah, right. Dr. Silberman for sure. I mean, where are these guys? Is it a licensing issue? Is it something? But to see Hot Toys backpedal on certain things and forward on others, it kind of breaks my heart. It splits me right in half. Going, absolutely love it. At the same time, absolutely hate it. Doesn't make sense. Right, that's my take on let's get nuts on the show.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to sway people to not buy. I'm not trying to sway people to not pre-order or to cancel it. But it is my favorite movie. Like I have the quote tattooed on my arm. There is no fate but what we make. So as a collector, as a community, to me, silence is acceptance. The more we're quiet about certain things we're not happy about, the more it's going to continue happening. Right? Look at what InArt did. They lit the fire under Hot Toys' ass. InArt gave us things that we wanted. They listened to the community, and then now they're like, oh my god, let's put out a Joker 2.0 artesian version because that's what collectors want. Yeah, now you're doing it. But what happened to Terminator? We're not giving my favorite character some love. I'm just biased, but yeah.
Fair. Well, I feel wildly passionate now. I'm going to tear this computer screen off the desk after the show today because that was a great take. You know what? I think when it comes to your favorite character, no matter who it is on the panel, I've been very, very passionate about how I feel about Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker. I've made dumb decisions like pre-ordering the J&D one, hoping that they would be better, willing to spend wild amounts of money to try and find the best version. I've ended up going custom route for that because I just haven't felt like any Heath Ledger Joker representation in figure format, despite the ones that we have available to us being pretty amazing figures, no knock. They still just haven't done it for me, and so I can understand where the passion comes from, for sure. And it shouldn't make anybody want to cancel their pre-order unless maybe you're not 100% sold on it either, and maybe they've unlocked, maybe Jay's unlocked a little key feeling in the chest there. But very interesting thoughts there, for sure. Marco, what about you, buddy? What are your thoughts on the?
Well, I was excited about this one, and then my boy Quentin Beck started going crazy. And no, I think all really valid points, honestly. Ben, we've talked about I've wanted a Terminator in the collection for a long time, right? And I'm like, do I collect backwards? No, be patient. They're going to do it, right? And like every year that passed and they didn't do one, it's like, all right, well, InArt, are you going to come save us? And so now it feels like, okay, they're getting these out pretty quickly. I think the turnaround on this guy is supposed to be fairly quick, right? He comes out in a few months. So it does seem like, they've potentially reutilized a lot of parts to get this one together as a solid release. Maybe beating InArt, right? Like maybe beating them to the punch before they announce theirs. And so I think they've left the door open for a definitive T800, clean T800, right? If you give us the bike, if you get the glasses correct, if you give us an S-tier Arnold sculpt, then InArt, hopefully they're listening to everybody, and those are all the, die-cast weapons. Those are all the marks you've got to hit in order to make like a top-tier figure. But I think this is pretty, for what I'm looking for, and I love T2, right? That's a special film. I don't watch it every year, though. I haven't seen it every year, so I can't say I'm like that big of a T2 head, but special film for me. I think it's perfect representation for me, but I do acknowledge all of the issues that you have laid out there. And then in terms of this or that, I would say both. I think the clean and the battle damage, for me personally, I've got to get both. And I think like others have said, I want that a die-cast endoskeleton for sure. So if not Hot Toys, maybe InArt. But I think, I just love to see this line getting some love. Now, is it perfect? Definitely not. But it's nice that they're finally giving collectors that may have missed out an opportunity to get this.
It's interesting, Marco, because when this was announced, this one, the clean, I thought maybe I should cancel my battle damage because the battle damage at least shows the endoskeleton under the skin, right? So if we never get an endoskeleton, it still feels like a really great representation of both Arnold and the endoskeleton underneath, right? But if we end up getting a shiny endoskeleton, maybe all I then need is the clean new clean to go along with it. Like, do I need all three? Like, oh my god, like it starts to become a very slippery slope, right? I want to give a very special shout out, friend of the channel here, the Jedi Knights Watch, Mr. Graham, saying sculpt isn't bad, but sunglasses do look a little feminine. Fair enough. But you know, if for some reason you guys are living under a rock and have not had an opportunity to follow this man and his channel over on YouTube, the Jedi Knights Watch, do yourself a favor and go over after Let's Get Nuts today and subscribe and watch the Wolfpack Wednesday show as well, because one of the best, one of my favorite YouTubers, and one of my favorite panel shows on YouTube with regards to 6 scale every Wednesday night as well. And that's no shame to Lael's show either, because I ended up watching them both. Wednesday night is a packed night of great panels. So, but yeah, go follow Jedi Knights Watch. Last but certainly not least today, I'm going to skip you on this one, X-Men. I know you said you were good with that. Valkyrie, Magnus, thank you so much for being part of Let's Get Nuts for the first time ever. Your input has been great and welcomed. What are your thoughts here on the Terminator?
So I'll preface it with when I was a kid, I was 12 years old. My uncle gave me 2 VHS tapes, which I probably shouldn't have watched back then, but it was Terminator and Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. He gave it to me during the summer, and I watched both movies almost every day. And then, of course, saw T2, loved it. And being a newer collector, I missed out on all the other Terminators. But one weird caveat my wife gave me was no bloody characters. And so when the clean version came up, I was like, okay, I got to get this. And thankfully, I had like $50 of rewards credit for me, like just waiting for me to use. So used it. He was like, pretty much almost a dopo to get this. Have to get it. And I'm just so happy to get it.
Yeah, dude.
I think it looks beautiful. I'm sorry I don't have Mysterio's passion. I totally understand it, but fight the good fight still.
Hey, yeah, no, for sure. Well, and again, if we were just a panel of people who are talking heads who only ever say positive things, that's also a little boring to watch sometimes. Like, it is interesting to see how passionate people feel about certain things. I myself have had very passionate takes in the past, whether it's on Collecting Weekly, on this show, or wherever I happen to be invited. But no, I think that's fantastic. Well delivered. I love to hear a little bit of pushback, and because I think it echoes a lot of what the community is feeling out there as well. In terms of the poll, let's end it. We got 33 votes in of the 70 folks watching. Yes, 30%. There was no no's, but there was both at 48% and 21% at neither. So it seems like if you're interested in this, you're either going to get both, or it's a yes, or it's a neither entirely. But there's really nobody that's saying no. So yeah, we'll see there. Mitchell Lawrence says Ben is Exo 6s. Yeah, you're not wrong. I was really passionate about that Wesley Crusher. I really freaking hate that figure, and I'm really upset to say that out loud, to be honest. And Aaron, just so you know, because I know you're British, when Valkyrie said no bloody figures, he actually meant like no battle damaged figures, not just an expression of figures. Just making sure you were
no bloody figures.
Sure, you know, inclusion on this panel.
Oh, I got that.
Guys, that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much to the 70 to almost 80 people that were watching throughout the 2.5 hours today. Thank you to our panelists who stayed for such a long time out of their Sunday and gave me their time. I love you guys. Honestly, I respect you so much for taking the time to be here and have fun with us and with all of the chat members. Congratulations once again to the channel member, The Batman, who got the 1/6 scale Alien Romulus Xenomorph coming this year. Make sure you please take a photo of it when you come. Make sure you send me your details to Instagram to make sure you get that figure in hand. We're going to continue to do more figure giveaways as we progressively get more super chats and more channel members. So any contribution you guys give me, I want you to know I'm not just pocketing that money. I'm taking it, and I want to give it back to you guys and continue to have fun and continue to see some wins out there in the collector community. In terms of the Tough Nut crew, I want to give a special shout out to Alvin J, Collecting Weekly, Money Mendez, 1 Adam 12 6 scale Mafia, 1/6 figure Focus, Feezy's Figures, King Dingaling, Sith Scale Collector, 12-inch Moose Dream, The Batman, The Movie Canon, Parks Industries, SpongeBob Square Balls, Honest Hansel, Peter Cass, Harry Dempsey, Ryan Smith, Collector Joey, Sam Gist, Rachel Miller, Jose G. Hernandez, Figure in a Bubble, Collection, Obsession, Blurred Dad Life, Balls, Alex Serrato, Pop Culture Relics, Daniel SC, Figurecraft, Trevor Weed, Big Rib, or Big Rib, as Dean would say, X-Man Supreme, Don Matan, Monroe Kerbeil, Valkyrie Magnus, OG Fan when Star Wars was just Star Wars, and Tijuana Mike, aka King Churro. I need to eat some dinner because I cannot stop talking over myself and tripping over my words today. Shout out to Saphira Cosplay. I'm going to reach out to you, my friend. We are going to get some female representation on the Let's Get Nuts channel and panel at some point here, and let's talk some cosplay and figures as well together. So keep an eye out for that. I will be quick to say I am going to be in Las Vegas next Sunday, so I will not be having a Let's Get Nuts show next week, but we will be back the following week after that. So stay tuned. I will put up the post there, and I will do a reminder post as well, just in case. But no, Let's Get Nuts next Sunday. We'll be back the following week. As all that being said, that's enough about me and my channel. I want to pass the microphone back to my esteemed guests here today. Aaron Articulates, you stayed up a little later than you intended. I apologize. You're going to be tired as hell tomorrow, but I love you for it, buddy. Thank you for being here. Anything coming up on Aaron Articulates YouTube channel that we can look forward to?
Well, first, Ben, yeah, not a problem. I love joining in with the show. So, yeah, I'd only end up going to bed to watch the rest anyway. So I might as well just sit here and be part of the last bit. Nice. But yeah, no, it's getting a bit more exciting on my my YouTube channel now. So we had our first live rant session with Pete, who was on earlier, and Ian from OFAC as well, and Jim Collector rather. And we had a good hour of just ranting live, and it went down a storm. So we've booked another one in for Tuesday, the 4th of March, which will be another live session where everyone brings a topic to rant about. And then that same week will be OFAC on the Thursday, the 6th. So you've got double Aaron Articulates there that week. Going live. So yeah, it's picking up a little bit now. So yeah, just get over to my channel and subscribe and just, enjoy the rants.
Aaron Articulates. Enjoy the rants, the raves, the rambles, the laughs. I will say lots of laughs on there.
Yeah.
It's a great one to listen to if you're on the road in between work or anything like that. So definitely to consider.
Yeah,
so,
good time.
Dude, thanks for being here as always. And thanks to your little one
Anytime.
for the Let's Get Nuts. I will use her soundbite if you're okay with it in future shows, because that would be fun.
Do it.
Press X to continue. Welcome back again. Second time on Let's Get Nuts. Always a pleasure to have you here, good sir, with your kindness and your takes. What is coming up for you this week that we can look forward to for you?
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been great talking plastic with all y'all. You'll find me out there on the internet. Next, you'll find me on Say What on Wednesday. And then I will be on Best of the Best this Thursday. So, you'll find me with my hot takes over there. Hopefully we get some great releases on the way. I'm sure we'll get a few surprises. And so, I'm excited to see what's around the corner. But thank you.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Anytime you guys are welcome here. Thank you so much for being here, buddy, as always. Make sure you say hello to Lael. Tell him I want to come back on Say What Wednesday someday soon. It's been a little while since I've seen him, just in case he's still not in the chat. But yeah, good to see you there, everybody. So, Valkyrie Magnus, first time on Let's Get Nuts. Did you have fun? How was your experience? And what is coming up for you in life, good sir, that we can look forward to from?
Just want to say once again, thanks for having me on the show. I mean, it's I pretty much started watching your live streams with your show first. So for me, this has always been the benchmark.
That's awesome.
So I don't really have a show, but I do have at least my Instagram channel where I take interesting pictures and perspectives of my figures and toys. We did have a few weeks of snow, so I took some pictures of my figures in the snow, and Moose said I was kind of brave for doing that because I might damage my figures. But it was still kind of fun. And once again, just glad to be here, and thanks for the opportunity to share my time with you guys.
Hell yeah, dude. Oh, happy to have you here. Say again thanks to the wife for letting you carve out some time on a Sunday evening to be here with us. Can you do me a favor, Valkyrie? Can you put your Instagram handle in the chat? And I'll put it up on the screen so everybody can find you and see some of your photos.
Okay.
But again, thanks for being here, buddy. Mysterium Yachtix, certainly a pleasure to have you here today, good sir. Thanks for being flexible on your take. I know that we had a lot of people on the panel today, so you were strategically quiet at times to make sure everybody got their thoughts in, and you saved all the great moments for when you needed to get them out of your chest. So tell me about what's going on with your channel, because you've been having some wild success over on your show there. What's going on for you?
I just been going about it day by day, just creating some shorts, seeing what the announcements are, and just having fun with it. This is really new to me still. I'm trying to find my groove, see where I fit in amongst the masses of YouTubers and collectors. So I just trying to find my place. But you know what? I'm having a crazy time finding where it is and how and learning how to do editing and those kinds of things. But you know what? It's been amazing. But Ben, thank you for having me again on your show, and thank you for helping me, get this get everything off the ground. So I really appreciate it. I know I kind of went off on. Yep.
Go ahead.
No, just I kind of felt bad going off on Terminator 2 there, yelling and screaming and dropping some F-bombs. But you know what? Hey, I'm passionate, right? And I'm not faking nothing, right? So this is who I am. Take it or leave it, right? So.
Oh, yeah. I've been on panels with Eddie Money Mendez, man. That guy, you want to talk wild card, you never know what that man's going to say. He's one of them. So, I love that guy, but Jesus, you never know what he's going to say. So, no, you are right in line with my expectations of the show. So, I appreciated your take, buddy. I'm glad you had a good time and had a chance to chat. And please do yourselves once again a favor and go and check out Mysterio Meonics on YouTube. Some pretty great things going to be coming from that channel. I'm confident of it. Marco. 1-6 fix. Good sir. You've probably been my longest friend in the collecting community sphere, next to the boys at Collecting Weekly. What is going on for you? Well, I mean, I consider you a friend. I can't speak for your side, but what's going on for you? Well, that's fair. What's going on for you, man, in your channel? We're in life that you want to be excited about.
Yeah, nothing really to plug, Ben, but just appreciate you having me on here. Really good time. And like I said, it was great to stream with some of you again, and great to meet a few of you. And yeah, really, really fun takes today. So appreciate you letting me come hang out.
Hell yeah, dude. Never you're always welcome. Open door anytime. You can even pop in for a couple minutes. Feel free to do so.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of which, Jedi Night's Watch says you're his BFF, so we're going to have to fight about that a little bit.
That's my guy.
I hate to see it. But also, Graham, I got to get you on the channel here too, buddy. So anytime you're free on a Sunday, I know football, Marco was saying football is coming to an end, it sounds like there. So if you got some time, hit me up, and I will definitely get Graham in here as well.
Now's a good time to get him for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm not a big football guy. I'm a hockey guy, so but I can relate. Dave, what about you, good sir? How is things going in your life? Anything we can look forward to for you, buddy, this week before we wrap it up?
Oh man, things are good, dude. I'm gonna be on the Canon Council after this here tonight, so we'll be kicking it up over there. I'm gonna be visiting Shane tomorrow on the Hope Show. That'll be fun. Be my first time over there.
In Ireland. I was like, man, you get around.
Dude, imagine I'll go to Ireland. Shoot, find me a proper Guinness and a nice Irish lass. Yeah, dude, I'm down.
I need the Austin Powers Village Bicycle soundbite. I'll get it for you, buddy. I'll get it for you. Don't you worry, I got you.
But yeah, man, it's always great to be on here with you. Always a good time. Love you to death, Ben. You're freaking awesome. I think I've streamed with each one of you guys now at least once, and just wonderful panel we had here. I know Aaron and Mysterio. I subscribed to you guys last time we were on, and like what I see over there. Good stuff. My brother and X. It's good to see you again, sir.
Yeah.
And Valkyrie, as always. And Marco, my man. It's good to see you too, sir. But yeah, it's just great to be on here with you guys. Always a good conversation, always fun. I love hearing everyone's takes on everything. I love when people get spicy on stuff because, man, that's what life is about. Spice. Let's do it. Let's get nuts. Hell yeah.
Let's get nuts. Well said, buddy. Well said. Collector Joey says, I've been cleaning my gecko tank, but great listen. Great to have you here, buddy. And once again, thank you for that cool membership perk. The poker chip was really, really cool. Figurecraft Philly, buddy, we've got to get you back here soon, but I hope you and the family are doing well as well. And S-Beam, make sure you go and check out S-Beam's YouTube channel. Great stuff with him as well. Marco, you did say you had one thing that you thought of before we wrapped up today.
Yeah, so if you wouldn't mind highlighting Jose Plus's comment there where it says Maso Menos next month. So apologies, Jose. Yeah, so Jose's launched a show recently, and he's doing it on our channel as we kind of build up his channel. So I wish I had his link to his channel so we could drop it in there. But Más o Menos, it's kind of inspired by our culture, right? We're both Mexican, so a little bit of Spanglish goes on, a little bit of learning about the culture, obviously with lots of 1-6-figure talk, and then he does something called King Shark Tank, right? So last time we had Thrawn's office and Nick's Collectibles square off, and it's kind of like they kind of pitch a figure that's not within the market currently that should be. And so yeah, it's a really fun show. Jose does a really good job of hosting. So on our channel next month, and then it'll be on Jose's channel here in the coming months. So yeah, definitely go check us out. Like, we'll post it on Jose Plus's social media and then our social media as well.
He hasn't invited me on yet, but I think it's because I don't know the difference between a pia and a tortilla. Tortilla? How would you say it? Tortilla? So maybe that's the reason.
Close,
I'm not too sure. I'm just gonna hope that was the reason.
Even more reason we got to get you on there to educate you, Ben. So.
Okay, I gotta get you guys out the door here. One last shout out to Pete from Only Fools and Collecting, division of Collecting Weekly. He had to run out because it was his bedtime, and I'm sure it's Aaron's as well. But shout out to Pete for being here earlier today. Lots of fun with you, buddy. Love you as well. So, guys, with all of that being said, thank you so much for the great show today. Again, we will not be back next week because I will be in Vegas on Sunday, but I will be back the following week after that, and we will have more fun then. So, all that to say, Aaron, this time it's you. We got nuts. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Wow, what a great audience. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Because subscribing makes you feel good. Where should I go? What should I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. It's gone. It's all gone.